Gentlemen, there's a lot going on this morning. We're actually a little bit behind because we were listening to the White House and Scott Bessent earlier, believe it or not. So he came on. The most meaningful thing that came out of it is that the White House said that Amazon was hostile by showing tariff prices. Other than that, man, we're still playing little data game. You heard about car tariffs, and that was like the big news for the futures, and then all of a sudden it pretty much faded. And then,
oh, hello,
that's me. So we got a good time, but we only have 1 minute till the bell. So, Chattadonia, if you have any plays, now is the time. I'm going to be watching NVO, HIMS, UPS, Starbucks, Visa, Booking, and, of course, young Amazon. Because remember, Amazon has earnings on Thursday. So now they just got clapped by Trump or the White House. They're down 2%, but we'll see. But let's see what you guys got, baby. Amazon, SQQ, Tesla, NVIDIA, holding SoFi. What's my average on NVO? Go look it up. SQQ, HIMS call, SoFi call, AbbVie calls, NVO, shout out to long-term, LOL, selling SLV, SPY puts, QQQ, Amazon earnings. Let's go. Amazon, Bud Light themselves. SMCI, sub, no plays, outlet, daily SPY put, calls on the peach in 5 seconds. Let's go. NVO, IWM, GM, and SPY puts. Good morning. All right, 10 seconds till the bell now. So, Chad, let's go. Let's have a good one. Amazon, no, pretty much they're like showing tariff prices, and they're showing like a tariff thing, and the White House pretty much said it was hostile. And then they refused to comment on Trump's relationship with Bezos. Round one, fight. I think the interesting part is that bonds were up for a little bit when Bessent was talking, and then that kind of faded. So we will see. And then, how much are they? Went up 20% for any of those like Amazon ones. Yeah, 40% is the price, pretty much. Any Amazon puts are up about 40. It depends on what timing you have on them. I think the short-term ones are up way more. Again, closer to the money as well, yeah. It's about 40. You could get a better price there, but that seems to be the White House premium buy open, 40%. So good luck. Yo, UPS, dude, UPS was doing really good, and then it got clapped. And then they announced something there at the end, and then it popped it up, but it was kind of a dud. Honestly, that kind of clapped both sides. Affirm. Oh, dude, the Reddits. Holy shit. Yeah, and then NVO is doing good again. HIMS went up 40% on the same damn news. But, yeah, it was a deal with those two. I think we're green on it now in the long term. We should be, give or take. And then there's Palantir. Again, Coca-Cola as well. They had earnings. I didn't hear much about it, though, HIM options not open yet. I put out a stream alert on an Amazon to watch. I didn't take it yet, but because it has such a wide spread. But I have a sweet spot Amazon. But given it has all this, hype, just wait a little bit and see how this develops. We don't have to take it right away. So that's what I'm saying. If you miss it, you miss it. But it already gapped down. Otherwise, I would watch. I'd watch some of the ones with a little bit of time, and remember, earnings premium is getting in the way of that. My overall thoughts on NVO and HIMS. I don't really think about HIMS, but NVO, I like it. That's why I added it, and I think it's going to be a good product. It already is, but either way, 10 years. 10 years will show us all. SoFi's up 7. Blech. Yeah, we would have, but then again, my plays would have expired. Amazon shares down after White House says tariff price announcement is hostile. What makes it the sweet spot? I'm just guessing, but it's a mix of being cheap enough where you could get a good deal and it's not too much exposure, but then realistic enough where it will actually move and get you closer to the money. So that's kind of what we were doing. But some of them have been insane and they'd hit. Even with the SPY, I would say $20 out the money was a sweet spot because they were going for like 20 cents and then somehow they'd go in the money. But that's kind of the general idea. Yeah, UPS, they cleared the premiums though. That's kind of crazy. It's literally break even. Which play is this? Yeah, UPS just got a pop. These Amazon tariff? What do you mean? I mean, it was the White House who said it this morning. Hey, go! And Bradley Frizzle is here, Peach Nation. Oh, that's what I'm talking about. Can't tariff the damn peach. Let's go. God bless you, Bradley Frizzle. We love you, baby. That peach, man, that has outlasted every administration. They don't feel me. They don't feel me. You know what I'm saying, Bradley? They don't feel me, bro. Good morning. Where's Boeing? I already put it up. Boeing's actually doing good. So, and they're at the top end. So just 183.89 on the peach, just as a FYI. We honor the peach in many ways. And just consistency is amazing. Amazing. NVO options are open. Let's see where that Amazon's at. Domino's on the high. Remember, they had pretty mediocre earnings. And then pizza is down. NVO. Yeah, NVO kind of came down too. But still doing good. Where's HIMS? You guys said the options just opened on that? And then Tesla on the low. HIMS up 26, bro. It was up 40% at one point after the announcement. Up on a year. Shout out to Lothar, baby. Woo! And yeah, you do have Jolts jobs openings at the top of the hour here. So give that a little bit. But you just got a couple reds there. Tesla just sold off $5. Am I tripping? Oh, yeah. No, dude, it just took $5 in a candle. So yeah, Tesla just got a pretty big flush right there. That was big. That was $5 in 1 minute. Yeah, that just rocketed up the premiums. I don't know what that is. White House, the deal with Japan not ready. Fox Business. And then watch bonds have gone green here. Coca-Cola is starting to go up. Again, that one is an earnings. No one talked about Coca-Cola. I'm pretty sure they did good. At least better than Pepsi. Interesting. Palantir 2. Bro, that's a fat candle on Tesla. Coca-Cola's doing a 10-for-1 split? Why? Was it going to be a $7 stock? That's the weirdest thing ever. Interesting. What was it? CoreWeave, Marvel. Where are the chips from yesterday? Remember that Huawei news is pretty big. Oh, you meant Coke, not KO. I know. That makes sense. XLP, I know, man. Some of them are doing good, but I don't know. That news in the morning kind of... Bleh. Even yesterday, we kind of melted up later in the day, but so far to start, I mean, you're kind of back and forth. MO is about to hit 60 again. Come on, Habibi. I think MO should have had earnings. I mean, a lot of these. I thought Coca-Cola, but for some reason, I don't see that report. And then Altria beats on earnings. Yeah, Altria killed it. So cigarettes did bad. And then revenue was like, it was off by 40 million. And then operating income beat by 10 cents or 100 million. Yeah. And then volumes are kind of in line. Smokeless volumes dropped a lot, actually. So revenue is decent, but... Yeah, that's actually weird. No, Altria didn't do that good. Not going to lie to you on there. The first metrics look good. I don't like that. Yeah. Bro, smokeless. Smokeless volumes dropped 5%. I think that's very interesting. Because, again, I think everything was in line. So I think at this point, it kind of reaffirms how, even though, remember, we're locked in at 9%. And then with everything else going on, they're not, I don't think they're still getting good operating income, good cash flow, everything else. So, but that earnings wasn't like crazy good. That actually was kind of mediocre. Put an offer on your first house. Go work, baby. I'm a beautiful human for opening your eyes to the law, bro. You are a beautiful human for acting on it. You know what I'm saying? They don't feel you, bro. They don't feel you, man. Good work. Good work. Someone sent me one. I hope he's awake. Whoever sent me that Florida house in like Pompeo, I emailed you back. That was a good deal. So, yeah. Yeah, that's crazy. So, I mean, to put it this way, like, I don't think that MO earnings was good. But the last, like, 3 quarters, even now, MO's expense ratio is going down. Do you guys realize that? So MO is, like, making the same amount of money, a little bit more. It's all cash flow. It's all positive. But now, from, like, from a year ago, they were paying 80% of their earnings out in dividend. After this quarter, they're only paying out 61. I say only, it's still kind of high, but to give you again, we're yielding 9% on this stock. So I think that's very fascinating. Oh, I'm a business. Woo! Thank you, my friend. Good morning. I didn't see that one. SPY moving around again. We're going to get data here at the top of the hour, so be on the lookout. Oh, Google. Yeah, that one's clapped. SPY popping. So you're starting to move up a little bit, but that candle's getting big. Eyes peeled. I see the Japan thing from Fox News. That's it. Nothing else crazy. UK Finance Minister, we will publish draft legislation today for crypto assets. Or? So, yeah, watch crypto. You got something on UK and crypto coming out now. UK and crypto. Interesting. TARS. MSTR. Everything is still small. Remember yesterday, man, I'm like, by the end of yesterday, I'm just glad I didn't trade that much. So I would like a real big move, man. But if we do anything, anything similar to yesterday, bro, that'd be terrible. So I hope we could get something good. But you do have a little pop there. But keep an eye on crypto. Again, that risk premium, or just holding up as the risk on, that has been great. Now we're hearing about the UK. Ontario Premier wants cooperation with federal government to deal with economic uncertainty from Trump tariffs. The Iron Condor may be your friend. Like, I think all premium selling, as long as you don't just don't expose yourself to a high max gain, and I do think it will reward you. But you got to play with the discipline. Graduated with your master's. Wow, and it was your birthday! Well, happy birthday and congratulations, Colton. Good morning as well. That's what I'm talking about. Or you grab Nike. Yeah, CP, that thing is still holding. CC, is that CCI? Which one was it? And then Eli Lilly's starting to move up. Eli Lilly's finally going green again, and NVO's climbing back. And then SPY just hit the top end coming down. I mean, you got a couple of headlines, but they're very, very minor. So we will see. Did the crypto charts like the UK news? Yeah, and watch the safe havens and that effect we saw yesterday. Yeah, it's like things move, but it was all so small. That's what I'm kind of worried about. And we are on a gap down, so we do have a gap to fill. Nasdaq's down about 0.5%. Surprisingly, the Dow's green. And I'll give you guys a checkup in 15 minutes. We've only been here for 13. So we'll find out. Good morning, Mr. Alex. We'll present government financial services competitiveness strategy on July 15th. That's part of the UK. Oh, the stretch for the upper back. Yeah, the wings, bro. The resistance bands. You got to do that. And then just put your arm on the wall and then walk back and like lean over and you like turn your head and you have to like push your chest down while your arm is like up on a wall. And it like activates that literal wing. But that's what I do. Or when you're in the car. When you're in the car, put your arm behind your head and stick your hand on the roof. You know what I'm saying? And it's weird. And you turn your head a little bit, but it just stretches that whole aspect. I don't know. I have to show you. I'll throw the glasses on one of these days. CEP popping now. Yeah, I'm not just going to do this little thing. Apple, again, where's Amazon? Where's that contract at? That contract's still holding up. Fuck. All right. So even after the first morning thing, that contract is the same exact price. Same 30, 40% spread. Still up 40% premium. No, my glasses are not transitions. No, I think my dad wears transitions, though. He used to back in the day. It would look... And when he was like, when they first came out, and it would get creepy. Oh, where's Baba? Again, dude, there's been a lot of China news nobody's talking about. You guys know that? I told you guys last week about the like word on the street in China was that they're all trying to buy stocks now all of a sudden. Not only are you, again, the silently starting stimulus, but again, there's another wave of like nationalism. And people are talking about China. And then yesterday you had Huawei AI chips. And then today you have Quen 3 from Baba. And all of this, bro. So I'm like, bro, it's kind of, we're being oddly silent about it. But these are all kind of big developments. And sadly, it makes me believe that we're going to get more escalation. Because China is, that's what I'm saying. They're getting more chips ready. They're doing a lot of things that people in China want to buy stocks now. That's very different from the last 3 years. So we'll see. Should you buy K-Web then? That's not why I'm telling you this. I want you to be available. Because, again, we're already up 80% on Baba. So we already positioned in China. If you want to be late stage, act on this information however you please. But I just want you guys to be aware of it because we don't know when this will hit. Just like I said yesterday on the watch list, the Huawei AI chip, we don't know if the market's going to react to it. Even Tyree was talking about that news a couple days ago. So I think it's kind of funny that we're having this. So you just be aware of this stuff. You know, I'm not really trying to tell you to make a play off of it. Some of you might, but at the end of the day, I do think there are like little checkpoints of information that we do need to just be aware of. And I think that's one of them is that you've had a couple moves in China. The China activity and shift in retail in China is important. And again, all of this shows that China is getting ammo to really fight a trade war. So we'll see. Yeah, the rally. I mean, we were already kind of up in the morning. The White House kind of got in the way, but just take note. This is your pre-market. So we were even live earlier, but essentially right when Bessent started to talk and didn't really give details, and he was vague just like he was yesterday, this started to drop. So even then, this is kind of all a pre-market move. And don't forget the bear market rallies, my friends. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I do. That's what I said in the morning, bro. We were listening to it, and then they were just like, it's a good time to invest in stocks. And I was like, what? I was like, are they doing this again? But this time he didn't put it out on Truth Social. But it is the first 100 days coming to an end, and I do think they, some people are excited. Does that even work? Where's the next level? I'm just scared of not going up too much. I think that's the real risk, is that you look like you're going to break, you get hella hyped, and then nothing happens. Gold dump. Good call. Yeah, that's interesting. What's the dollar doing? Is the dollar running? Like we said, watch if that gets reflected. I think that's going to be very fascinating. No way they did that again. All right, well, never mind. Okay, no, dude, my platform's glitching is right now like crazy. The SPY pump. We're not really pumping. We're just back to where we started. That's it. It just, and then again, even the last 2 days, yesterday was painfully numb. There was nothing. So that's why it's like kind of funny, but I would be careful. And then I put out something right now. I just stream alerted it, but I'd watch. We might get some weird news today. I don't know, but there's a couple of outside points that we could be watching. Other than that, I would just take it slow. But yeah, premium just popped. I sent one out right now. No news now, but there was more news in the morning. China waives tariffs on ethane imports, sources say. There it is, Reuters. I got a headline. So something related to energy, China's kind of caving. That's good. So I don't know how big of a reaction. It is bullish. It shows a cave, but just don't get like, you know what I'm saying? I don't know how much follow through. Again, you already just ran up, but that's your first like random development trade news of the day. But yeah, China waiving tariffs on ethane imports. That's good. That's very good. Again, we haven't really seen China do anything that's on the realm of, trying to de-escalate this. So I think that's good news, but I don't know if it's going to make you go up 1%. Sherwin-Williams. Yeah, I've been seeing that's up 5%. I think earnings. That one keeps going. Bro, those Amazons won't get cheaper. Interesting. But yeah, I'm gonna keep watching that. Watch Pinduoduo too. If we hear anything related more to trade. SPY just still moving slow. The question is kind of looking like it's gonna either melt up or not, but it's all too tiny, too slow, too early. Too early. But NASDAQ recovered about 0.4 so far. I did see the Temu thing. You missed it. You should have been here yesterday. We talked pretty in depth on why that happened and how some items have zero fee and some do. And it really just depends on inventory and what is already here. But I love it, dude. My mind was blown yesterday because I realized something. It's that my generation, we don't reject prices. We explain them. Because it's actually like wild. That I was thinking about this and I was looking. I'm like, oh my gosh. All the things, we explain them. That's it. It's never like, oh no, that's too expensive. There's always has to be a reason. Like, I made a joke yesterday on Twitter and I was like, yo, gym memberships shouldn't go up because of tariffs, FYI. But the amount of people are like, well, actually, the equipment comes from China. I'm like, dude, you realize my gym payment has been the same for a fucking decade? as the machines too. I don't think they have even. But I was like, oh my gosh, the amount of people to quickly rush to defending prices. My brothers in Christ, there was a time where prices were too high, and people would say no. No means no, and then the companies would go bankrupt. So you could do that if you didn't know. If you didn't know, you don't have to justify any price move ever. All you have to do is say yes or no. Amen. Amen. Yeah, Airbnb, again, you got Booking. Booking's earnings are today. Oh, shit. My computer feels like it's about to clap. You know, I have to move like how you say. Weeble on the high. Weeble pop, 50 cents. Hi. Dude, these are terrible. All right, SPY coming down a little bit. I'm trying something. I don't think it's going to work, though. Oh, yeah, you got Jolts in 5 minutes. You're right. And then, bro, Sherwin-Williams just keeps running. And then Sony's on the high, too. Why won't it show a price? When does Trump speak? I have no idea. I think there's some scheduled stuff later today, but it's not necessarily Trump. And then tomorrow, you'll have Trump with all the CEOs. Bitcoin pop. All right. Well, Amazon, that one's... I made an earnings play. I'm doing a very, very early earnings play for now. I just executed it. We'll see. You went to Jonathan's Grill last year and they took the prices off the menu and you saw the bill and you've been boycotting them ever since. Well, yeah, that's how we used to do it back in the day, man. We'd be like, well, Jonathan has gone through a lot of things and now Jonathan saw the price and did you know? I'm like, oh my gosh. China waives 125% tariff on ethane imports, hitting again, now with numbers. So that same news is getting recycled right now. The ethane imports, but now it's 125%. So not bad. And then, yeah, you got about a minute and a half here till the Jolts jobs opening. Again, I have no idea what Jonathan's is. I don't know. I've never heard of it. but it sounded like a restaurant. Yeah, so Jolts are expecting 7.4. Again, one of the lowest ones, but I don't know. I don't know how the market's going to take it, actually, because I want to say a low number would be good, less job openings, but again, if the job openings plummets, people might go full recession. You know what I'm saying? They may freak out a little bit. So we'll see. You got about 1 minute. This is the March Jolts. Yeah, that is terrible. Because again, remember the beginning of April, that's where everything got wild. The Amazon won't even come down. So I thought the puts in the morning were just going to be jacked up. So I said, watch them. And then it bounced, and then they won't move. So they won't even depreciate. Bad news triggers rate cut. Yeah, but I don't know if it'll take out the market maybe. I don't know. Market reaction, bonds, yeah. If it's bad, bonds will like it. But I don't know what equities will do. It's going to be weird. All right, 3, 2, 1. Burp. And we're off. Well, bonds are already moving 7.192. So very low. One of the lowest in the last 12 months. See, like I'm saying, I don't know if market's going to take a recession. Bonds might like it, but it's still kind of good. Honestly, I think it's, I don't want to say it, but it's actually good. It's decent. Because now you're like low, get the bonds up, but then it's not like, it hasn't cratered. But then again, this is a month ago, so it is somewhat behind. And then April Consumer Conference Board Confidence 86 versus 87.5. So I think that actually has a little bit more weight, as odd as that may sound. So yeah, the Conference Board came in a lot lower. Then the quits went up. What? Yeah, I'm very fascinated by that. I don't think the job market's that bad because the last 3 months, people are quitting more. Usually you only quit if there's a good job market, right? Think about it. Back in 2021, you could quit because you're like, I'll get hired, make more money. So when people get worried, they're less likely to quit. But that's interesting. So from the beginning of the year till now, I mean, you've pretty much had 100,000 quits or more people quitting. But other than that, I think Conference Board a little lower. I don't think the Jolts is too scary. And then we're going to get another regional Fed here. You guys remember yesterday we got Dallas manufacturing. So you're going to get another set of that. You're going to learn to be an airplane mechanic? Oh, wow. Yeah, bro. They actually need a lot of those. That's awesome. That's going to be very difficult. Meta popping. Yo, Meta and NVIDIA. Nvidia. What's going on there? I don't know. It looks kind of small. Amazon's moving, but Meta and NVIDIA just made a pop. Again, NVIDIA is starting to go up back to 109 and Tessie too. Oh, it could be the government quits. That might be. Yo, Tesla, bro. Something with Tesla and NVIDIA. It has to be. Look at that right now. Are you not seeing that? Habibi, what is this happening? Yeah, watch Tessie. Yeah, I'm just sending that. I watch that. I have one to watch on that, but be careful. I'd be scared if that one fades, but if we get a couple more candles and there's a headline, that could be very good. Redfin's even coming up. Oh, I don't know if there's BA news. I didn't hear. Maybe the China stuff and then Walmart's coming up. But no, I don't really think there was. Can Jolts pump stocks? They used to be able to, but I think Tesla's doing something, bro. They moved $5 down, but I really think it's Tesla and Nvidia, but I can't verify that. So for now, I'm just going off of the rumor. I have one to watch. Again, I've been giving you guys plays to watch today because, again, it's like slow. I'm not feeling as good about them. I remember Jolts used to be bigger. Zelensky says Russia is preparing something in Belarus this summer and using military drills as an excuse. Whoa, MSTR, bro. Oh. And then CEP, and then Target now. And then Adobe. What the hell? You got a very wild mix of stuff going on. I'll get you guys a checkup here in a little bit. But yeah, MSTR now starting to break out. Even got Eli Lilly. Kind of everything, bro. BB. All right, even CEP. And then dollar pairs gains versus yen. Bro, even TJX, Netflix, retailers. Yeah, Netflix just got a pop too. We are getting some juice out of nowhere. So you just had bad data. I think the jobs was, you could have looked at it in a positive spin if you really wanted to. Conference board could have been worse. And now we're just jumping like it's nobody's damn business. I don't know why. Okay. All right, that Tesla already went up fucking 40%. So, yeah. The Sony calls. Yeah, I mean, Sony was running big, but that was the one we went super duper small. Yeah, I have $10 on it, $15. Oh yeah, that one SPY play also went up 15% too. I forgot about that one. So I have 3 different plays on watch. I'm keeping them there. And then Tesla, then the SPY, everything, bro. All SPY calls are up 30% now. Tesla's just hit fucking 80%. That's ridiculous. And then what's the other one? There's one more we're waiting for. Where was it? Core Weave. No, there's one more I wanted to see. And then there's Meta. There's Tessie. Oh, there's something else I wanted to look at. I just blanked heavy. I don't, dude. It's related to Core Weave. That's why I put Core Weave. My mind is just clapped right now. I had a stock I wanted to look at. I'm like, oh, I had a good idea. Oh, well. Oh, Starbucks earnings. I don't know why. That's not related to Core Weave at all. Yeah, that's why my mind works in weird ways. Yeah, I want to see the earnings. Take 2 on the high. Well, we talked about it yesterday. So you remember I'd watched the watch list. It's just for you members. But literally the bear market rally and the timing of it and the days. And that's so get used to it. In the middle of chop, y'all better get used to random ass moves. But we'll see. Today, this week is big as well, too. So we'll find out. The FOMC is on May 9th. So not this week, but next week, pretty much. We're going to get that. Take from State Farm. What up, baby? He making his appearance on the Twitch. Good morning. Woo! Only thing I remember is 44 days. That's not going to be on the quiz, so, man. All right. Well, on that note, we got our data at 7:08. Got some decent plays, but you got to make a move. Some of them on watch, some of them we took, but, you know, you had some ideas here, and they actually kind of hit, so pay attention. But other than that, I'm going to go potty. Follow me on Instagram at The Trading Fraternity. Real Cut News on Twitter. And I'll see you in a little bit. Good morning.
Makers to move production to the U.S. But without USMCA certainty, what I hear back from people in the industry is, I'm not making that move. It's too costly. I need something more than simply a promise that things will improve. And I think that's going to be a real sticking point in the months ahead.
There you go. That uncertainty that we were just talking about, Phil. Thank you very much. Phil LeBeau, GM shares down 2%. Let's get to Coca-Cola, another earnings mover today, out with results. The soft drinks giant beating earnings estimates and also sticking with its full-year guidance with minimal tariff disruption. Joining us here first on CNBC to discuss the outlook is Coca-Cola CEO James Quincey. James, welcome back. Good to have you.
Thank you.
So on the quarter and the outlook, it doesn't feel like there was a big tariff impact or that you're particularly worried about that uncertainty factor that others in corporate America are citing. Why?
Well, I think firstly it comes back to the business model for the Coca-Cola company. As much as it is globally recognized and we're a portfolio of huge global brands and of course including the iconic Coca-Cola, actually the business is a profoundly local business from an operational point of view. The drinks in the US are made by American workers in American factories, largely all with American inputs, and the same would be true if you took Brazil or anywhere else. It's a very profoundly operationally local business. So our exposure to import, export on a global basis, on a trade basis, is actually relatively low. And even those few things we do need to source from other countries, we have to take it in the round of all the other business factors that are out there. You know, if you just look at the something we may buy like aluminum for the US, we got to look at not just what's the tariff, but what's the movement in the commodity price, what's the movement in the hedging, what's the movement in the forex. You take all those things together, we believe that there's lots going on, some pluses and some minuses. We've got a great strategy, a very effective local business model, and we believe that it's all manageable, and we're not changing ours or nor of our US bottlers changing their current pricing plans.
Which is why the 5 to 6% revenue growth expected, 2 to 3% earnings growth expected. What about the consumer? Because we heard from other staples so far this quarter, this season, Procter & Gamble, your competitor Pepsi, they cited uncertainty with the consumer and how that's led to trade downs and different decisions. Are you seeing that?
Certainly, we're seeing some disruption for consumers around the world. I think it's very important to recognize that some of the need for affordability didn't just start in 2025. Inflation was a factor for the last few years, and that lower income segment of the population in many markets has been looking for affordability for a while. So that's a continuation of that strategy that we need to stick right on, make sure we're offering affordable options, and make sure we stick close to the consumers. So that will remain true. The other piece is, you know, that there's a difference between sentiment and behavior. The consumer sentiment in the U.S. has moved, but
Coke Zero, bro. That's their number one seller.
Some robust levels
so
of
14%
relative to pre-COVID. So there's still some money
I feel,
out there.
Though.
The consumers are still
I feel heavy.
largely speaking, behaving obviously with a caveat on some of the lower
Okay, low ticker's picking up, but it's not like everything.
It
So
may be
and
that
it's
we
not
see
as many
more-
big tech. So C,
I
but
was
if
gonna ask you,
Apple and
don't
all the
see
other ones go
recessionary
on.
behavior or
I saw
anything like
Costco
that.
on the highs. They're like really running.
I
Yeah,
think it's
$4
very
pop.
early. It's clear
It came
that
back
in the
down.
next
It's
few
not
months
loading.
There's going to be some choppiness.
There's big spread.
In a number of industrial supply chains around the world. That doesn't primarily and directly affect us, but it's going to happen around us. So I think there's going to be swings in sentiment. There may even be swings in behavior. Classic recession behavior would be to slow down on durables. Rather than consumables.
Apple as well.
Again, we're in the small price point consumables area.
And
So we think
staples
we
going
have
up. You had
resilience
Intel,
as a category.
and
We
now
think we have
there is
resilience as a
Baba
business model,
for the
and we have a
14th
growth
high of the
strategy. So we
day.
think the Coca-Cola
So now
company
China's
and
waking
system,
up, and then
will
so are
do
the
well,
staples.
even if it gets a little choppier in the next couple of quarters.
And on the tariff front, are you seeing any sort of anti-American sentiment? There's nothing more American than Coca-Cola. But do you see a consumer response globally to anger, for instance, at America boycotting America's products, whether it's on tariffs or there's reports a Latino group
bro,
called
this
for
is just
boycott
like
against
all on the
popular
internet,
brands
though.
because
That's
of
what I'm
the
saying. Like,
deportation and
you
immigration
listen to the news
policies.
and it
Is
sounds
that-
like everybody
is that
hates America,
happening?
but they don't. It's just no one cares.
Some anti-US
Unless-
sentiment
yeah,
does
Amazon
occur,
just
you know,
ripped.
actually sporadically.
Yo, they're
and
probably
that's true
putting
if
out a
you look
statement.
backwards in history, and
Check
unfortunately,
Amazon.
it'll be true in the future. Sometimes it's around false information, which some of those videos were around the Hispanics. That I think is abating. But there has been some negative sentiment in a number of countries and certain populations.
The fuck is
What
that,
we
bro?
do
Amazon,
is to
big
focus
volume.
on our brands, and the crux of the matter for Coca-Cola is it is a global brand, but it has very universal values, and it has a very local business operation. And we find when we do face some of that negative sentiment, if we focus on the brand and the localness of its operation, made in country X by people from this country.
Honestly, none of the
and we
options
reinforce
move.
affordability,
I'd watch the penny
that
ones,
brings
but
the
they're not
business
moving.
back.
Low key.
Obviously,
I don't know if they're going to
going
remove the thing. It's just not moving.
So it's a
Like I
problem
said,
we've
even
seen
the puts
before.
barely move,
It's a
but
problem we
bro,
encountered
the
in
calls didn't even
Q1.
take a jump off of that.
It'll happen sometime in the future, but we
Then-
have,
some
we
of
have
them
a
did.
game plan to see us through it and bring the business back so we can stick to our overall strategy.
What about the MAHA movement, Make America Healthy Again? The HHS Secretary,
I feel like I
RFK
haven't heard
Jr.
that in a
has
while.
called awareness to big food, big beverages. I don't think he's a fan of soft drinks.
Yeah, the White House
Is that
denouncing
having
it was
any
in the
impact
morning, but it
consumers'
just took a
minds?
pop.
I was
It could be
talking to
fake.
PepsiCo CEO,
Like I'm saying,
and he
some
said
near the money's
sort of
moved, the out the money's
demonization
didn't.
of big food, in a way, is having an impact.
We don't see new substantive trends in beverages. Can't speak so much to the food.
This was never for the main website. Amazon Hall has considered listing import
of course,
duties
we'll
on certain
work with the
products.
administration on their plans. But over time, we've been seeing that the portfolio has been changing its nature and its shape as we respond to consumer demands. We see the growth of Coke Zero. We see the growth of Fairlife protein.
Woo!
So we have
That's
seen
Coca-Cola?
consumers look for a broader portfolio of choice. We have
so they
full
got me
calorie
on
options
that.
or low and no calorie options for almost all our brands. So we've seen that expanding
That's
for
funny.
consumers, and we think that's a strategy
I didn't know that.
will work for the future to respond to consumer needs and make sure we're selling great products of high quality for the market.
I love it.
What about the rule changes, the artificial dyes? Is that something that, I mean, how much do you
Okay,
use
SPY
that?
going
And is
lower,
gonna
whatever
be a
that pop was,
difficult
none of them move, bro.
transition that could lead to higher prices for consumers ultimately?
Yeah, we in a very small part of our portfolio, we do use some of the dyes that the secretary has talked about working
Red
with
40?
industry on a voluntary basis to try and get out. We look forward to hearing
Okay, Core
about
Reeve
their
is on the
plans.
high.
Certainly, our number one interest is to use ingredients of very high
And
quality
pizza
with very
out of
robust
nowhere.
science in the US and
Actually,
everywhere else
pizza's
in the
kind of
world.
getting some decent
And
candles,
so
but
we'll engage
it's just
with
a
that,
liquid.
with the administration on that and see where that takes us. But our ultimate aim is to have a portfolio.
Yeah,
of love
financials
brands,
into the
great
low.
tasting
That's an
products
interesting
that
one.
Consumers want to drink with all sorts of optionality on all sorts of dimensions. And if we focus on the innovation and marketing
Okay,
behind
Spies
that,
I don't know
we
if that's
can
real
continue
volume
with
or
our
not.
growth strategy.
They got a wick.
What about the SNAP program?
fake.
How important is it for you from a sales perspective if, for instance, soft drinks are banned from SNAP, from food stamps? That's been discussed. It's been floated. I think some states are trying to do it. Ultimately, I think the U.S. Department of Agriculture would have to be involved. But you must have modeled that out and are looking at that scenario. What would that mean?
Yeah, I mean, the SNAP program, our estimates of how much of our U.S. business is related to that is a sort of single-digit
Deck is
percentage
going
of
up,
the
too.
business. It's clearly a way that the low-income consumers are able to buy beverages of their choice across a whole wide variety. I know that there's a lot of talk
I'm gonna give you guys a
proposals to
checkup
make
when this
some
is
adjustments.
done.
We'll
But you
see
got
where
some weird
those will
poppers.
go.
China
So
just
it is
started
a
to
bit
wake
of the
up a little
business.
bit, but really,
ultimately,
staples
it
are moving
It
up.
will cost some money, and it'll be
And then there's
manageable.
Core Weave now.
We'd like to continue to see consumers getting choice, but the administration and the states need to work through their programs on that.
Yeah,
Amazon says
that's the
tariff
pushback,
plan on
right?
site
The
was
nanny
never a
state, even if they
consideration.
are trying to
Washington
go for
Post.
healthier beverages.
They put it out to their own news agency.
Earnings about China, and I
Clarified
know
the
that you grew
plan
in
never
China
showed import
this quarter.
duties on
so
the main
I'm
site.
wondering what it looks like on the
Again,
ground
Core
there,
Weave
how the
popping.
economy is holding up. especially with the big trade
EU
effective embargo
Jorgensen,
with the United
EU
States
will
at this
initiate investigation on blackout in Portugal.
We grew in the first quarter in China. I think that was a consequence of some refocusing of our strategy last year around our China business that has really allowed us to restart the engines on growth on brand Coke.
I mean, Bezos does write shit for the Washington Post sometimes.
In the first quarter,
so I don't know if he wrote that, but they did respond.
The economy is in okay shape there. You're still seeing growth there. I think the trade relationship, the news is more in the second quarter and the third quarter as those restrictions and impacts start to come in. So I think the first quarter is not a leading indicator in that sense, but so far so good. And in the end, we're going to focus on what can we control.
Bro, what the fuck is happening with CoreWeave?
Which is what is ultimately a relatively local business from an operational point of view, and stay engaged with consumers.
And overall inflation, I mean, I did see there's price growth still, not like you had in previous years, but is it back to normal? Is it going higher? Is it going lower? What's happening with prices on your products overall?
Yeah, you've seen what we've been calling out for a while, which is the moderation of our pricing as inflation has been moderated. Price mix which was 5% in the quarter. There was 1% there from the very high inflation countries, so forth. So really coming in to the landing zone of a more normalized global level of inflation. Our long-term model probably looks for inflation in the 3% kind of range. So it's really coming into what we expect it to be, a kind of moderation and a normalization of
Intel again too, and then CLX.
All right, good to hear. And finally, is it Fairlife? Is that still the hot one in the portfolio?
Fairlife in the first quarter this year, on top of last year, was the #1 brand in terms of adding dollars to U.S. retail sales. So it's a great tasting product with fantastic intrinsics. Consumers are still loving it, and we're building a lot of capacity. Huge investments in manufacturing in the U.S.
Who knew milk would be the hottest product in 2025? James, thank you very much. It's good to talk to you about all the big issues that you're seeing and thinking about. Thank you. It's James Quincy, CEO of Coca-Cola. As we head to break, here's our roadmap for the rest of the hour. Nike getting itself into another big new controversy. Talk about the fallout and what the company is telling us.
Plus, growing fears about the crucial home selling season. The CEO of Compass is going to join us. We'll get the pulse of the housing market.
Stocks trying for a 6th day of gains, 5 days in a row. Yesterday was the longest win streak since November. Now NASDAQ's higher for the month. We'll talk.
All right, we'll take. So again, you had the Amazon back and forth. That was weird on the pop. That guy was. I don't know what the fuck happened to CoreWeave, but they got flushed yesterday. But we started selling off here. There wasn't really any headline right when you started to go up again. Some of those plays went up like 30%. Then you had the Tesla thing, and then whoop, all the stuff that kind of popped up reversed. Even Nvidia, Tesla, all of that, and then Amazon's in its own little world there. But let me get you guys a checkup because there's some weird moves right now, and it's tiny. Look, you're not even moving a quarter. But Dow Jones, 16 names green, 14 in the red. It's pretty much 50-50. NASDAQ, 47 green, 52 in the red. Pretty much 50-50. And then SPY, you have 178 in the green, 322 in the red. So very, very interesting. So we'll see where that takes us. But now you're getting right back into open. So whatever upside off of either anticipating it or not. Because, again, some people are thinking we're going to get something out of the White House or not. But if that doesn't happen, it's just data and earnings. So remember, yesterday was 7 hours, a lot of moves, but it wasn't like driven by headlines. So we did get some. Again, Amazon, that's making some. Who else? The NVO and HIMS thing. And then the automakers, but we kind of already dodged that, or market took it, didn't really react too crazy. And then Intel's been climbing here. But like I'm saying, market's 50-50. That's why I wanted to give you a checkup, because you have some names going up. And remember, yesterday was an outsized sell on some of the chips. So see where that plays out. But now you're right a little bit above open, still negative. And remember, pre-market. So even then, right now, we just hit like a new pre-market high, and now you're right back to like where the futures were at pretty much all night. All night and all morning. BP on the high. Oh, I forgot Google. Yeah, it is. This has been 5 green days, surprisingly. The best streak of the whole entire year. We are not closed on Friday. I don't think, unless I'm missing something, but I don't think we're closed on Friday. What moves the market more, news or economic data? I have no idea. It all just depends, because if you get a really bad earnings, that could have a real big impact. You know, if Meta, Microsoft, Amazon, Apple, if they have a report that really throws a lot of animosity or negativity on the economy, that's not going to be good. Other than that, though, if it's all like in the middle and we don't really get too crazy of a development, maybe the economic data. But again, if non-farms, even like we saw here with the Jolts, if everything comes in line, it might just be like that's also a possibility. We get very anticipatory, and then it's just all meh. And then before you know it, we might still hold up, but it might just spend 5 days to do nothing. That's what I was worried about last week, but then it turned into that melt. So again, do we close green this week, and then by how much? I think that's going to be a very important question. Good info. I appreciate you. Well, thank you. Thank you. Excellent reporting. Excellent reporting. China. Okay, right back. Dude, it's a quarter. I mean, the Russell's pretty bad, though. So that didn't show up on some of those other ones, but I am kind of curious about that. But that is your worst one so far. Other than that, it's giving me the vibe of yesterday. The VIX. I noticed the VIX was green all day. So, again, after that little gap up, it still is above 25. We hit below that yesterday. And then let's take a look at the dollar. We'll see. We just might need to be patient. Many will be. Well, I said it yesterday. I'll make you guys another video on it. But my very bearish theory is the embargo. But after yesterday on the watch list, we talked about a really bullish theory. And it's sad. It makes me sad because it's kind of not really it's deficits. Yeah, small caps are very bad today. Him starting to go down, but other than that, it seems like everything's starting to get the drain except Staples. Some of them are underperforming and they're still red, but literally I've noticed the last 5-10 minutes as we've been going down, Staples have been going up. And then Amazon, that's faded from that. AON, TWM, IDYA. So a couple random small caps on the high. Oil's going down. SCO's on the low. And then Bitcoin hasn't really done anything. The yen is trying to go up, still negative. Safe havens are not. They don't really have anything. Boeing on the low. All right, you're a little bit above open now. Had that little melt, 5546 down to 5513. Remember, 5517, 5507, that's the level, and that's it. Why are we dropping? Same reason why you went up. No real reason. We did this yesterday, so you guys might have to get used to this. OMH. Why does that name sound so familiar? That's popping. And then VIX is climbing back up here, but I guess if it reassures you, this is only 0.25%. Now, granted, top to bottom, probably about 0.5%, but yeah, if this is really going to move, we have a lot more in store. Otherwise, if we just keep doing this 0.5% up, 0.25% up, 0.25% down, then yeah, that's it. Gold started to move earlier down, but now gold is coming back up. But none of the safe havens are really in play. I mean, if yesterday didn't give you as many signals, today is a lot chiller. But we have got more headlines, but they're still kind of watered down. Amazon, nothing has been implemented on Amazon properties. Amazon Hall considered the idea of listing import charges. That's interesting. So we're getting more developments on it. Because, like, you guys are like, wait a minute, why the fuck did the White House say that? Like, what's the point of the White House coming out this morning and saying that? And then they're like, we didn't do that. So, no, I think somebody at Amazon leaked it to the White House, and the White House knew. And then the White House said something, and now Amazon is like, yeah, we were thinking about it, but we didn't do it. So, a little bit of drama. But there's more updates. They're saying nothing has been implemented, and they were considering the idea, but nothing has happened. Nothing has changed. But they were considering it. So, OMH, whatever the fuck this is, bro. This just popped up $2 right in front of us. No idea what it is. OMH, check news on that. It's a small cap, so be careful. But then again, every time, just like yesterday, bro, as we start to go down, usually a random small cap gets a little bit. Yeah, annual report foreign. I have no idea what this is. Is this one of the China ones? Yeah, I think. Did we get free ones on this? Oh, I think I sold these. I think we had free ones and we dumped them. I don't know. The name sounds so familiar. Interesting. So watch of China, because again, they started to go up, and then that's your first little bounce for no reason, after dropping for no reason, after hitting a new high for no reason, after you gap down for no reason. And then yesterday we moved 7 hours for no reason, even though there's a lot of talking. So yeah. OMI, maybe that's it. I think there's reasons. We're just impatient. That's why I said, man, 44 days, y'all better get fucking used to it. The law term, you better get used to it. That's why you don't need to change so much, because it may feel like you're doing something and you want to do something when the market's not doing anything. But yeah, we just need patience. That's it. Patience and timing. Dallas Fed Services 3.8 versus 1.3. Texas service sector outlook minus 19.4 versus minus 11.3. Five puts, good luck, baby. Not bad. Not bad. What is this? Breaking news?
Kind of a mixed reaction. I would think this would be
talking about
friendly,
the Amazon thing,
right,
I think,
for the automakers, ultimately getting some relief there.
This was supposed to be the big headline of the day.
Still lower after results
Bro,
today.
Tesla
Thank you,
flush.
Keep us posted. A lot of moving parts on the tariffs. One name gaining on results, Honeywell.
Got one free if you did take it.
Lines,
there was a play. It went up 80% and then came right back down, and now they're flushing.
Not cutting guidance, and it's being rewarded, up 5%. One of the top gainers on the S&P currently on the move. We're going to hit a bunch of earnings and what companies are saying about the impact of tariffs and what they're seeing as far as the impact of the consumer when we come right back on Squawk on the Street after a very short break.
Very short break. Is a philo better time to ask for a potential long term? No, you could ask now, but don't make a big scene when should I ask you, just to ask me, something that's been covered. So I would love to hear if you have any questions, but at the same time, if you have not caught up with the long-term videos, you have not monitored what we have added to the portfolio, most people know exactly what I want to buy right now. So I have a couple of names kind of changed, yeah, but generally I do think potential long-terms, I don't think that list has changed too much. But if you do have a specific company, I could always look at it, and now would be a good time, but I'm not really I don't think, again, we just need to be patient, and this is kind of part of it, because I think right now, especially if you're willing to look, this is one of the highest amount of names below 2021 prices. We haven't seen this in half a decade, if not longer. that you have this many high-quality S&P blue chip names that are lower. So I've given you guys a list. I like them, and I like some. And again, we bought stuff recently, and I'm glad we did. But, you know, you have a wide set, and I hope you let your portfolio speak to you about it. But with that being said, if you have any, you let me know. But make sure you keep up to date with the videos. And we kind of, anytime we talk about the long term on the watch list, we kind of go over these. And then yesterday we talked, if UPS died, I probably would have been picking that up. CoreWeave, that was weird. I don't know why. CoreWeave dropped and then came back up. Oh, yeah, that's still holding up good, though. Looking at ETF, DGRO, no. That's what I was telling Homeboy the other day. Yesterday, I was like, I don't like Wall Street like that. You know, some of you guys, you have good ideas, but you're ending them at the interesting vehicle. So if I'm going to make a ETF, it's going to be the SPY. That's it. I wouldn't really touch any of these other ones. Firefly Arrow says Rocket suffered mishap after launch. Who's that? Who is Firefly Arrow? Oh, is it FLFY or something like that? Or is it this? I have no idea. Is it LMT? SpaceX wannabe? LH on the high. Again, SPY's coming right back up to VWAP. And then, yeah, CoreWeave, whatever's going on with that. The moon landing. Yeah, LabCorp on the high. Yeah, watch the video. Watch Tesla, whatever the fuck is going on with that, man. And then Biogen and Guild, another set of biotechs move in. Again, XLV healthcare has not been that bad. And then Staples are the leader. Banks are randomly selling. Dow is still green. SPY and NASDAQ are barely red right now. All right. Would you like to know why we're going up? So it's the same exact why we're going down, but yeah. So this is what I'm saying. The last couple of days here, just we won't tell, but you have to be aware of it, man. Is that if we just start, that's the thing that fucks this all up. Is just when we slow down. But then if you're swinging, like yesterday was a 2.5% swing to go nowhere, to move 1/10 of a damn percent, bro. Like, what are we talking about? So that's the thing, is that we're playing this 7-hour wait for headline game, but you kind of see it. So patience, head on a swivel, and that's why I keep it small too, because it's kind of easy to get fooled like this until we start to really break out. J&J, another set of staples, bro. And then even General Mills. I'm seeing Staples and then the sorry one. Wells Fargo, big pop. Wells Fargo, Chad. Oh, I whiffed already. I typed in the wrong ticker. Oh, they won't fill me. Yeah, I whiffed it. Bro, they did it again. Fuck you, market makers. Yeah, I missed it. I'm not chasing. Bro, I put in my 2-cent orders. They hit. And then they literally would fucking... oh, no, I got one of them for 2 cents. I'm up 12,000%. Yeah, I tried to get 100 of them for $1, but they scammed me. I put in the order, bro, and they fucking cut it. That was the wackest shit I've ever seen. Twice. I had 2 plays. So they literally just front ran me and then took it. I got one of them. They gave me one. I'm up 12,000%. Nice. I'll take. I mean, I'm not mad, but I know I just saw what you did. Dude, that's crazy though. I had the orders. I'm telling you, I had two of them, and I hit both sets, and then they filled me on one of them, and then the other one, it was chilling, and then they pulled it right when my order went in. The second time. But that's why I said I already missed it. I'm not going to chase it. I had the first one though. First one was fire. But I have one play, $1 to, I think 14 or 20, something like that. Nah, that was dirty. Well, either way, you heard it here first. Yeah, and then you wanted Microsoft for Google long term? No. So you got to figure that one out on your own. I will only buy mega cap tech when it becomes extremely cheap. And I think we've done it before. You know, Netflix and Meta are in our portfolio. But if you want to buy Microsoft or Google right now, I don't think you have listened to the Watchlist shit. So, but I can't help with that. So you got to make up your mind if that's your plan and what you want to do. But I like good value. You know, I think, like I said, I started off the conversation by telling you, you have a moment now in history that we haven't seen in a long time. Where we're half a decade, almost 10 years, you have not seen this many names trading below their highs. So you have discounts left and right. But you did bring up two names that do not meet that criteria. You still brought up the names that are up a very, very large amount. So, but you got to make up that. You got to make that choice. Honestly, I've seen it today, bro. A lot of contracts didn't move. And this reminds me of last week. Because there's been some fucking massive-ass moves today. And that Tesla moved and the SPY did, and then one of them did nothing. But it really reminds me of yesterday. Or last week, where I think one of these days we're going to get a random one. I got 12,000% because I bought a play for a penny. So I literally got filled at 1 cent, I think. And so that's why it's easy to get a high percentage. It should have gave me 100 of them, but they scammed me. UPS, good luck, baby. I like it. I said I wanted to wait. I'm glad that we have details from the earnings, but I think Wells Fargo was a massive buyback, I think. But I like UPS. I'm glad that we know the info, but I would like a little lower. That's why I was hoping. I was like, if it died, bro, and they got clapped for no reason, that was going to be easy. I would have bought it. I would have actually... Because, again, we have another deposit, and like I was saying, with the bear market rally timeline, I'm glad we spent a little bit of money in the long term, but either than that, we'll see where we are. Airbnb, NVO, and BEPS. Not bad, honestly. BEP, I'm not too familiar with. O's a little higher, but NVO, Airbnb are at least cheap. Maybe Pepsi. Is that what you meant to type? Pepsi? You just typed it like an Arab. Bebzi. The Bebzi. That's how my dad says. Bebzi. Bebzi. He says Bebzi with a B. Bebzi. But other than that, I like Pepsi. I've been talking to Bebzi. Bebzi is a very good staple. You know. Killing frenzy. Running riot. Untouchable. Invincible. Double kill. Flag dropped, flag taken, flag dropped, flag taken. King of the Hill. Sorry, that's like a Halo thing. I can't. XOM, Energy. And then MSTR still. Blech. Said I've been waiting months for that. The Bebzi, but I love it, the Bebzi, Habibi. You know, we have a Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola up 50, Habibi. I up 50% about the Coca-Cola. But the Bebzi, oh, you got renewable energy. I don't like energy, renewable. These, but I like a Bebzi. You buy the Bebzi, very good. Staple. Everybody know Bebzi. Everybody. Pfizer cautiously optimistic that Pharma will avoid tariffs. I told you that headline was going to come out, but I was just like 3 weeks too early on that. So I don't think our plays will hit, but Pfizer CEO is saying that now. The Bebzi. Where is the Bebzi? Yeah, Pfizer started to move. I'm mad at that. Remember I told you that? It was on 2 weeks ago on the watch list. I was like, get ready for that far. They just lag so fucking heavy on the negotiation. So, but yeah, you're getting a Pfizer tariff comment now. I'd keep eyes on that. But then again, Pfizer pretty beaten down. And is there earnings? I don't know if they already reported. And then UNG and Boyle, they already reported? The Bibzi Habibi. No one important is talking. No. Pfizer CEO says ample room if they need to transfer production to U.S. So they're on a conference call right now. So Pfizer is. So look, it's going up. I had those old plays. I had one set expire, and I got some old shitty ones. CEO had private productive tariff discussion with White House. That's coming out now. So again, I put out a stream alert to just inform you on this because this is a headline I told you guys about. They just lagged. That's it. The whole negotiation lagged, and we were just mad early. But yeah, so it's already moved up just under 1% on that. Bitcoin exposure is necessary in 2025. Although I like Bitcoin, I strongly disagree with that. That's the shit that's going to get you fucked up because that's what fucked everybody up last year. Replace Bitcoin with NVIDIA and tech or AI and chips. That's it. Because I do like crypto. It is the leader. It's showing risk on. No problems with it, but just be careful of that certainty. And just, again, that's what led people to avoid good value stocks for a year and a half. That is exactly how we picked up everything we got because everybody went from FOMOing and falling behind to, oh my gosh, it's already up so much, but we need this no matter what. And then before you know it, it all got crowded, and then they were giving us 9% MO at $30. So you got to watch out. You got kicked from stream alerts? Well, if you stopped paying, you probably would, but long term, but I did. Unless you've been banned or sent me like wicked emails, you should be good, but some people do get removed from them. So some of you guys who have been very rude or banned in the past, I find your name, I find your phone number, and I remove you from the long-term alerts. That is a privilege. It is not a right. You know what I'm saying? So, but otherwise, if you have not been a menace to the community, should be working. So you could shoot an email, but then again, if not, yeah. Yeah, I don't like that. That's what I'm saying. I mean, be careful with it. Do you like work for them, or does your girl work for the company? Otherwise, if you don't really engage with it too much, like I said, just don't go too nuts, but yeah, Bibzi Habibi. I share you guys both know Bibzi, huh? Huh? You know Bibzi? You been to Costco, Bibzi? You know the Bibzi sport? Bibzi, very good. But yeah. CoreWeave. Yeah, Pfizer's still going. Now Merck, remember, dude, all these little pharma healthcare ones. Bro, we were saying that even earlier. I was telling you guys, XLV and Pharma, but this is like wave 2 as we're coming up. That's holding you up great. And now the low ticker really hasn't moved in a weird amount of time. Wells Fargo says concerns playing out in market and economic uncertainty related to tariffs. So yeah, don't forget about that. That was our other one. Can I unban you on the long-term alerts? No, you're gone from that if you got removed. I have nothing else. Because again, you know, people don't do that, right? Nobody on Wall Street says, I'm going to give you a portfolio that outperforms, and I'm going to inform you within seconds of doing it every single day for years for free and not ask you for anybody. Who does that? That's not unheard of on Wall Street. So if you botch that opportunity, I can't. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's wild. So if you didn't value it in the beginning, I mean, I don't know if you would value it now. I just don't trust you. If you did get removed. I don't know if you did or not, but to anybody who did, I just encourage you to follow along with the YouTube and wherever else I post them on my Instagram or whatever. But that is it. Yeah, you can still see them. Mm-hmm. Fizzy Boble. I closed them. I even raised the price on it, and then somebody was even weird with it. I just closed them, so you can't even sign up for it now. You can't sign up for stream alerts. You can't sign up for long-term alerts. Your opportunity has passed. So get a long-term still, and, you know, whenever you have a shot, maximize your opportunities. How did you? I don't know. I was assuming you knew, so I don't even know if you're banned. But if you were, I don't plan on removing anybody. Is this the Cartman method for stream alerts? What does that mean? I'm not understanding. Yeah, Pfizer again. You got the call out and the stream alert. Is saying you can't have this, it makes you want it. No, you're banned. So thank you for viewing it like that. But no, like I said, I was trying to keep you guys safe. I hit 1,000%ers and you guys were signing up left and right. You know, I'm trying to inform you guys and educate you, but yeah, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? But are they gone? They might be, yeah. I don't know. We'll see. Like I said, it's just not. I'm not trying to deal with that shit. You could lock in and learn a lot, and we'll do good. But I want you guys safe. The point is safety. Don't get FOMO. Don't feel like you're missing anything. You'll be okay. But you do got to plan and prepare, and you got to save money, and don't get caught up in, you know, the market will always offer you a moment to, like, get emotional. Don't take it. You know what I'm saying? That's all you got to do, and you'll be fine. Bibsy. NVO and hymns. I'm just glad I bought NVO at the bottom. I'm a big fan. I still don't like hymns, but yeah, I mean, they're the NVO is the plug technically, so I'm happy with my investment. Overall earnings, I can't tell. It's 50-50. Some of them have been oddly good, and then some of them have been oddly bad and still kind of outperformed. I'll tell you this. So far for the earnings, I've heard a lot of weird uncertainty, but I'm not that worried about the economy, if that makes sense. Because I've heard people like say stuff, and we've seen weird guides and cutting guides, but nothing's like scary, if that makes sense. I don't know. Like, they all are saying the fear, but it all sounds so generic, It doesn't sound like 2022, 2023. It's not when, you know, people are like, the one person was blaming the dollar, another person was blaming the slowdown, another person blaming rates or real estate or refinancing, inflation, supply chains. It wasn't like that. So that's why I'm like, in a weird way, I'm like, yeah, some companies bad. They're definitely uncertain, but I didn't get the world is burning vibe, if that makes any sense. And I did in 2022. 2022, 2023, it was, holy shit, this is terrible, you know? So we'll see. Yeah, Corey, I have that in the right. I was like, I called out one of them on the stream alerts last week. So that play is still working. But I just watch them. I didn't post the play. I gave you a premium to look for, but that was it. So I don't know, though. It's a weird option chain. Trump on Truth Social posted 100-day recap. Nice. All right, and then SPY working its way up. Palo Alto on the high. Again, Pfizer had news. CoreWeave is just running for no damn reason. Then a lot of healthcares are doing good. SPY is about to break out again. Where is those SPY calls? SPY calls are still green, but not as much. They were up 30% at one point. They're only up like 10 now, 15. Oh, yeah. Is it Euro? No, we got 30 minutes till Euro close. Would you buy stocks on margin for the long term? Would you marry a stripper? So I don't know if any of you have married a stripper. Not trying to offend you, but it may not be a bad idea, but it's kind of looked down upon. So I would just don't buy on margin for your long term unless it's like a complete collapse. You know, if the stock market crashed, Donald Trump ruins everything, and the stock market is down like 80%, 70%, I would margin the shit out of Apple or something. But other than that, I don't think this is a time for margin, high interest rates. You're watching people de-lever. This isn't a moment where you lever up. You know what I'm saying? Like literally just finance. Like I'm looking out for you guys right now. Finance 101, this is not the moment where you're like, fuck yeah. I want to lever. I want more leverage right now because the next question is why. And I don't think you could answer that. Most people can't. You know what I'm saying? If you're like, why do you want to buy more right now? If it's not, unless it's, you have to give me a killer deal to justify margin right now at least. So get a little bit more answers and you'll be good. Yeah, but so there will be a time. I'm not like against the idea, but very rare. That's going to be if we like have a real big decline, use it. But for now, this isn't the moment. I would stay away from it. It'll hurt you more than it'll help you for sure. At least what I've seen. You're about to give a presentation in college about benefits and disadvantages of water ETFs. All right. Tell your teacher. Say, shout out to Colt. See what she says. Actually, don't. I don't want you to get a bad grade. But yeah, good luck. Good luck. He's like, I'm in a cult. I love water ETFs. My cult leader said you can't live without water. So, hi. I'd be like, don't do that. Don't do that, please. I'm not going to make you go out like that. Pfizer again and Guild, bro. All these drug companies. Well, I need to go pee. Nope, that's a commercial. The long term, you guys, is funny. Isn't the long term funny? Dude, this is insane actually now. It's actually wicked. Oh, yeah, where's... And bro, all biotechs. I think Pfizer's snitching right now, you guys. Hear me out. Because you heard me call out biotechs and pharma in the morning, and I was like, that's weird. They're all holding up. And now Pfizer's like, yeah, we talked with the White House, yibbity-bobbity-boo. Yeah, Borla says not going to be a strong top-line growth story for next 3 years. We expect to become EPS growth story. So they're going to increase profitability. But yeah, it seems like we might, I don't know though, because last time 2 weeks ago, I was way too early on the tariff shit, you know? But maybe we're closer to the tariff answers. I don't know. The pharma tariffs. But if that does come, I think that will be a catalyst. But they're all moving right now. It's kind of odd. But not bad. All right. No commercials. Boyle and UNG, again, that's still moving. Like I'm saying, Guild, Merck, Pfizer, XLV, Amgen, Biogen even, fucking VKTX. All these biotechs are running, bro. I don't know about medical devices. That's a good question. Medtronic is up, and I know who's the other one, like Dexcom. Yeah, they're not moving as much, but pharmaceuticals, and drugs, those are the ones really moving right now. But SPY new high. I don't know if premiums are getting active yet. Let's double check. Yes, premiums back up to 20% on the SPY. I don't like the SPY, though. Eli Lily. And where's NVO? What about MP Dub? Don't they have earnings? SPY hitting a new high. Abivi is part of the drug makers. That's what I'm saying, bro. I don't know if this is a snitch or not. I can't tell. I called out Pharma, just observation in the morning, and then now those Pfizer comments, but then they're all like, that is objectively a leader right now today. They're all going up while some stuff is just meandering, or now everybody else is starting to go green too. Yeah, it's super early. It's only 11.
Amid the economic turmoil.
Okay, let me go to the bathroom. Follow me on Instagram, After Trading Fraternity. God bless America. Shout out to vets and the coat.
But is it bad news that is good news? We see woefully low consumer sentiment, the worst reading in terms of consumer sentiment in almost 5 years. But that fuels the desire and the hope that the Federal Reserve might indeed start to cut rates to support the economy. We're up 0.3%, but some notable names on the downside, and you're looking at one of them.
Yeah, very quickly, NXP Semiconductor. It's a story you may have missed among everything else. The stock was down significantly, pared some of the decline to 6%. Two pieces of news: tariffs impact, an uncertain environment hitting the outlook and performance in the quarter, key supplier to the automotive sector, but also CEO Sievert's retiring and then promoting from within. One that you want to keep an eye on, key name in the supply chain, Karen.
You certainly do. Meanwhile, let's return to the White House because it is taking aim at Amazon.
I just got off the phone with the president about Amazon's announcement. This is a hostile and political act by Amazon. It's another reason why we are onshoring critical supply chains here at home to shore up our own critical supply chain and boost our own manufacturing.
Look, the comments weighed on shares as the tech giant gears up to report results on Thursday after the closing bell. Remote's Kaylee Lyons is here to break down the story. All of this based on reporting coming from another source. Amazon has since denied that it was ever under consideration for the main site that they would make it transparently clear that what tariffs add to the price of goods. Just give us the background.
Yeah, Caroline, the White House was responding here to a report from Punchbowl News, citing a source familiar with the matter that suggested Amazon was soon going to post a separate line item for the tariff charge on its website, akin to, for example, what we've seen Shein or Temu doing with import charges now that the U.S. has ended that de minimis exemption on cheaper goods coming out of China and Hong Kong. Now, Amazon says that that was actually never under consideration for its main website, that, yes, the ultra-low-cost Amazon Haul team did discuss discuss this, but ultimately it was never implemented on any Amazon property. So that hostile and political act that Caroline Leavitt referred to, an act that not actually has been taken, and perhaps Amazon in this way is not yet actually going sideways with the White House. But the criticism of the company that Caroline Leavitt lobbied today did not end there. I would note she also referred to Amazon as a China-aligned company and referred back to a Reuters report going back to 2021 about Amazon partnering with a Chinese propaganda arm, essentially that Amazon allowed itself to respond to an edict from Beijing or cooperated with an edict from Beijing around negative views of a book published by the Chinese government of speeches from Chinese President Xi Jinping. And she really pointed
Indian
to that
Prime
as an
Minister
example
gives
of the
Army
China
freedom of
alignment this
action to
company. She also, as we
respond to
heard her say there,
Kashmir
talked
attack.
about the importance of turning away from
So
China,
bond's
buying
going
American
up, but
and
I don't
onshoring
know.
American
See if this
So
spy, I don't know how the
this means for
spy would
company's
respond. I don't know if
relationship
this
with
is
White
actually going to be the
Overall,
thing, but
obviously a question
yeah,
now
it is
after it
that
has gone to
global
great
tension we
lengths to
talked about.
ingratiate
That's coming out
itself
now.
with this
It
administration.
correlates
Remember,
with the
Amazon,
spy, but I don't know if
donated
America's
$1
going to
million
like
to
react
Trump's inaugural
immediately to
committee.
that.
Jeff Bezos himself attended that inauguration, has spent time with President Trump trying to fortify their relationship. And that relationship, the president's and Bezos, is one that Caroline Leavitt said she did not want to speak to this morning.
The chairman and, of course, founder of the business, Kaylee Lines, we thank you. Let's turn our attention to another key story. Spotify shares. Look, they're slipping after the company reported operating profit that fell short of analyst estimates. Look, that's even as subscriber numbers, they grew. Here to discuss, Bloomberg's Ashley Carmen. And really, it felt that there was a lot of good news that ultimately was outshone by a profit hit.
Yeah, I think investors are just a little bit jittery. They're seeing Spotify forecast potentially a miss in their estimates for gross profit margin as well as monthly active users. So I think they're just kind of like, is this going to be the future and the trend, or is this just a one-off kind of moment here? And Spotify says this is a one-off moment, of course.
Ashley, the long-term Spotify wants you to think about is a world where they move into podcasts, audio, video more, and they might also raise prices along the way.
Exactly. So over the past couple of years, they've branched into audiobooks. They're now launching this creator partner program where they're trying to get essentially YouTubers and video podcasters to put videos on the service and compensate them based on consumption rather than advertisements. So they're really trying to pioneer some new formats and diversify away from music.
Okay, watch if Pharma and Pfizer start to
slip. In
slip.
other earnings news, shares of SoFi are higher after the fintech company raised its full-year forecast. SoFi CEO Anthony Nodo is here with us. Good morning to you, Mr. Nodo. I think there was a lot of focus in the quarter on the momentum.
Okay, yeah, you guys don't need to tell me that anymore, you know, because I didn't realize it though. I already get gassed up at home. You know, the other day, my girl asked me for help with something she was working on. And you know how she opens up asking me for help? She goes, she said, I need your help because you are such a creative genius and you're just a genius. So you need to help me right now. That's what she told me. So, yeah, I already get gassed up at home. I'm fine. Yeah, you don't need to tell me excellent reporting. I felt like I was missing out yesterday, but then I didn't really realize the blessings I already had. So. You guys are great, though, so thank you. Thank you for all the excellent reporting. And long way to go. You were in Kashmir? Oh, yeah, in India? Bro, there's some fucking crazy videos. Ransomware hack said to be cause of Marks and Spencer outages. Is that the Portugal stuff? Putin said to demand control of 4 Ukrainian regions at U.S. talks. They're eating the dogs. I know, that was her first one. Don't forget, she's European. So it's different. I told you, her whole family hates Trump. I feel bad. but they know it was her, bro. It wasn't me. I did not convert her, bro. I swear to you. I promise on everything, bro. She is that was her, and she is into this stuff. So, yeah, I was like, yeah, I don't know. But they still love me. I love them too. Good people. The atmospheric conditions, we heard that too. Is a clothing company? Okay, then it's not that. I don't know what Marks and Spencer is. So yeah, but we don't know what the clothing or the Portugal thing. That was weird. That was weird. All right. Other than that, bro, you're back to the high. I mean, there was. Do you want to know why? So it wasn't really any events. I do think the updates from Pfizer and anything in the pharma world is important. You know, we got a little bit with Wells Fargo. That was kind of a dud, but still. Sanofi is not supported on Robinhood. That's interesting. I mean, it is an ADR, but that's another biotech going up. A&F? No. I like A&F. I do. My girlfriend got me a shirt and it's soft. But again, that company, man, is, you know, and any company like that, I think they're good to learn from, but I wouldn't be the guy buying them at the high. You know, I know they came down, but the thing about it is that, like, Abercrombie has, like, really low debt. They have all of that, but it's just like they were dying, dude. I know it's at 70, but this is a $5 company. This is a $10 company. Like, what are we talking about? You know? So they had a lot of growth, but, like, I don't like buying these. So I think it's a good one. I'll watch it, but this doesn't, like I told the other guy. And you guys might like it. You might not. I'm not trying to be an asshole, but I do want to, I hope I could influence you guys positively so that you could, you know, keep whatever ideas you have. If you're willing to take risk, you're young, great. But I do want you guys, especially the young people, man, y'all got to start becoming a little bit more like price defensive. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm telling you, you live in a world right now where you have not had 100 names on the S&P, 200 names on the S&P. You know what I'm saying? That are trading below their 2021, 2022 highs. Again, to go back that many names 4 or 5 years ago, that doesn't happen too often. So in this opportunity, what are you going to take advantage of? You know what I'm saying? I would take advantage of what we are getting offered right now. Just like when I told you guys about cash at one moment with the bonds, and like, because eventually we're going to look back and this opportunity will be gone. You know what I'm saying? Maybe it gets a little better, but eventually this will be in our rear view mirror. So like I'm saying, I would go for those. I wouldn't be buying the name that is higher than all of these. You know what I'm saying? This is not below 21, 22. You know, even then you could take all of them. Ralph Lauren, look, it's still higher. Why would you want this right now? So you guys get what I'm saying? And these aren't bad companies, and I get the outperformance and some of them could hold up, but I'm kind of flabbergasted how obviously people are missing this, because this is what happened at the end of last year. I was screaming this from the rooftops. I was telling you guys before anything about how you have all of these names that are so low and they're such good quality. But again, people wanted NVIDIA and other stuff. But all I'm saying is if you're looking at a name and it's not below a certain price, or it's like you're not really getting, you're still kind of paying the premium from the recent run up, I would go for the ones that I couldn't get. But this kind of has already been offered to you. You know, a lot of these prices, they're not new. But the new prices that are going below multi-year levels, that's what's good. But other than that, I'm not in the market for these types of names right now. I don't see them as particularly attractive. You know, even then, from Microsoft to Google, even I'm not like, yeah, I want those. Again, I took NVO. That would be the only one that didn't go down as much, but even then, we bought it below 2023. It didn't go below 21 or 22, but at least we took back a gigantic year or two. But even then, that was pushing it. That one was risky. But like I said, I would start with that. But like, by all means, do whatever you want to do. I'm not trying to tell you not to do anything. don't get mad at me, say, oh, I didn't buy because of this. It's your life, man. But I am trying to say, be a little bit more price defensive, and try to get a good deal and think about what you're paying and comparatively, this is what I do in real estate. I'm comping stocks like real estate, and I'm just saying, bro, the other neighborhoods, good neighborhoods are trading at a discount right now. I'm not going to move into these, overpriced new builds, essentially. So I hope it helps, but this conversation, like I was telling you even the other day, I'm seeing people sell shit out of nowhere. I've heard this a lot. We had this talk yesterday even. So I hope y'all get it, but at the end of the day, only, you got to pay for it or benefit off of what you do. It's your life, and then only time will tell. But I'm a big fan of taking advantage of opportunities while they're there. And, just keep in mind, some things won't last. So, this negativity, everything being down, this may not last. Maybe it gets worse, but we're going to go through periods. So try to take advantage of those moments effectively. Is the best tip I could give you. It is a perfect analogy with the new builds. Yeah. That's because some of them are, and it's all kind of recent hype, and they still have a premium. But I'm like, dude, there's some good existing homes in great locations right now, trading at a price we haven't seen in years. So those are where I start, and then we move into everything. But you first got to make sure you have the cash and all of that. But patience, because that's it. And this does boil down to patience. You guys know that, right? Because why not just wait till Abercrombie comes down? Why not just wait then till some of these do what the other names have already done? That's what happened with NVO. We started, and then I waited another $30 before buying. Because, again, we bought at the beginning of the year. That was things were up. This was down. And then when it started dropping, we waited till it finally got there. And even then, this one still has that risk. Bibsy. See, Pepsi, I like Pepsi. That's what I'm saying here. Just look at that, bro. You get Pepsi at 2020 prices? Come on. So, yeah, dude, that's a name you all know about. You probably use it once a week to some degree. You probably have a Pepsi product in your house right now. $10. Nice. I like it. Yeah, Disney. That's another one. So that's what I'm saying. That's where I start. But once you have gotten enough good ones, then you could dabble with the others. But even then, I'm just telling all of you guys, right now, I don't know if you realized it, but you are living through a historical moment. You're given an offer right now that I don't think will be here at the end of the year. And it's either going to be a new offer that's a lot more attractive, or that's it. It was gone. And that's it. All these names that are down, we're going to go back to fighting to find a name that actually is reasonable at a reasonable price. What price is Google good? You're not going to want to hear it, but I'll buy Google below $80. I would need it below there. Why? Because that's what I'm telling you. I could pull up over 100, 200 names that are trading below these levels. I don't see this as a deal. I don't see this as a discount. Nothing about this attracts me, except for the fact that Google's a behemoth and it's a great company. But yeah, if you're patient enough, you may not like it, but an impatient motherfucker may not like what I'm saying. But this strategy allowed us to get some great names. So whether there's big downside in the future or not, I think we're patient and we balance enough with very well where we don't need to be prisoner to, we need this now, because I'll wait. If it drops, I'll pick it up. But I'm not going to pay for that price. Again, I have Meta, a Netflix, JP Morgan, Uber. The list goes on, but it's like, what the fuck? It's because we did it like this. We just waited, and they come down, and we'll take them. But in the meantime, you got to use your dollar where it's strong at that moment. And right now, your dollar gets you way more in some areas than others. Yeah, Spot, we're back up here. Fucking weird-ass day. But then again, yesterday was crazy, too. American Rebel? What's this? That was unhalted running. Arab resumed trading. Arab Habibi. Bibzi. You own 0 things made by Pepsi in your house? Are you sure? Go in your pantry. You might. Or you may have had their products recently. Chips, Fritos, Coca-Cola. Oh, no, not Coca-Cola. That's Coke. Oh, Target. That's another one. Gatorade. Yeah, what is Arab? Arab? Let me start out. I hope so. CBO launches exchange trading in CBOE FTSE Bitcoin Index futures. And Amazon says the statement of disclosing import charges was never approved and not going to happen. Desani. But like I'm saying, though, I think I realized what's going on. Because right when every day was really exciting, and then all of a sudden the market started melting up, and then just like today, we have a lot of action, but like no headlines, right? And it just, nothing's happening. And I genuinely believe there is a lot of new or a couple of years of experience investors. I think you guys are falling for the temptation to do something. Does that make sense? I think some people right now just feel like if they want to move, and they think because the market's not doing something, it's like a weird mental trick. You think that if you move, something's going to move, but it's not. Does that make, because I'm telling you, it's so random. You guys should have been selling at the high, or you should have been panicking at the fucking low. Does that make sense? I'm not even like, I get it. I've seen a lot over these years on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? It's like we've encountered millions of people, bro, in every market experience. That's why I'm like, okay, you should have sold off at the high when we were talking about getting houses. Some of you were. You were like, wait a minute, this is fucking high. And hold on, that's people do that at the top and then at the bottom. But now we're right in the fucking middle of it, and motherfuckers are just like, oh, I'm gonna just change it now. Why? Why didn't you change it a month ago? Why not 2 months ago, 3 months ago? I'm confused. Especially if you're operating on a 10-year plan and you're moving the 10-year plan. Why are you doing it right now? It does not make any sense. It's so purely emotional right now. And that's why I'm saying just be careful of that. You know, you may feel like if you do something, something's going to happen, but it's not. You know, this is all patience when it comes to the long term. If you're really talking about investments, I am in a hold. Yeah, it was scary to look at it come down, but you didn't sell it if you didn't need it. You need it if you're going to buy a house or do something else with it. But that's why I'm saying 10 years minimum, man. It's like, come on. It's just like you don't have to be so reactive. And I get you may feel like a lot of things are going on, but, you know, sometimes, like, let me put it this way. This is an analogy I have given before, okay? I've been in this situation, actually. It's kind of funny. Let's say you are in a room, right? A building. And somebody drives by and starts shooting at the building. Ba, 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 and they're just lighting it up, right? How many of you would stand up and start walking around? What would be your course of action if the bullets are flying, Chatadonia? Yeah, stop, drop, and roll. There you go. No, I think that's for fires. So bullets are flying, bro. Yeah, hit the deck. You don't move. You see what I'm saying? You don't need the worst thing you would do, you wouldn't stand up and start walking around. So do you see what I'm saying about moving? And I get it because people are seeing the bullets fly and you're like, oh my gosh, and maybe the bullets stop for a little bit. But I'm saying I wouldn't be careful. And you don't want to be the one that, is moving around too much when, again, just sometimes staying will help you. Just stay low and wait it out. And if you got good cover, you got good positioning, you're going to be fine. But it would be terrible to start moving around. You're going to get hit. You're going to get clipped. For what? For why? You see what I'm saying? And that's what you got to watch out for in this. You move intentionally right now. That's all I'm really trying to tell you guys. You see what I'm saying? Whether you want to sell, rebalance, come on. You have to have a real reason and intention, and I hope it doesn't change the next month because then we're just going to be spinning them wheels. So think about that. And I hope that helps. You got the CBOE news. You got a nice little Josh long-term rant. The words I need. I hope it helps, man. Like I'm saying, because I'm seeing this happen, and I'm fascinated by it, to be honest. Because I'm like, this is unique, and I wonder why. But I think it's just because the market got quiet, and we just went through a fucking shootout. So I think everybody's like, oh, but that's why I'm like, you got to have a real plan right now. You should know what it is. And again, if you're going to make the exit to a crib, dude. Like I was telling all of you, all-time highs. I was saying every time naturally in my life that I've seen an account at those levels, I say I should buy a house right now. I look for homes. And that is where I'm saying if you really want an excuse to sell, I would go find a better opportunity. Not be scared, you know what I'm saying? You don't have to do this, but also too, be patient and be intentional. And that is going to help us out. But remember, this is the first 100 days. This is day 99 of Donald Trump is today. You know that? Tomorrow is day 100. So above all else, that's why I'm like, don't let the emotions get the best of you. And we will be good, my friends. Boy, good deals. They're good to have. Profits on stocks when buying a house? Not really, no, to be honest. It's like you could talk with a tax guy and you might get some good tax write-offs if you put it under a trading company, but you can't really do that. Do you know the way you do it? Sadly, is to gamble. I know that may sound ridiculous, but if you have a high taxable gain, sometimes your best bet is just gambling it. If there's no other write-off, or you pay the taxes and walk away a winner. But usually there is a math equation that you could turn into a X amount of gamble by the end of the year. So that's why I do that sometimes. If you guys don't know that, I have explained this before. Because if you have a high realized gain, that's what you're going to pay taxes on. So if you take a bigger realized losses on the gains, that could lower your taxable tax, but then again, you just made less money if it doesn't work out. But if it works out, then you make even more, and then you're paying more in taxes. So it's a weird one, but you can't really get around that. Other industries, other companies, they have real estate businesses have more tax write-offs and other ways, but however you generate the money is going to be there. But consult a tax professional. I'm not a professional at that topic. Lucy Reebok partnership. Who the fuck is Lucy? Innovative eyewear. What's this? I have no idea what this is. Lucy. Lucy. UNH, I have Humana. So UNH is the better quality one, technically, but then the CEO got killed and then they did bad. And I'm pretty sure they're doing almost as bad as Humana now, right? A little better. So they got the premium, but I like Humana. So I'm going to just ride out with that one, but don't get too much healthcare exposure now. That's why I only went with a small deposit. We'll hold it, but I think we'll get more answers by 2026, 27. We got to get like halfway through the term because I don't know what they're going to fucking do to healthcare. Remember, healthcare is inherently political with everything going on too and all of that. So I am going to keep my eyes out for it. I'm down with Humana because that's the deep value in that space, and I like insurance. Insurance and healthcare is a great industry. So at minimum, I wouldn't be too scared of it, but like I'm saying, there might be more in store for healthcare by the end of this administration. See, but I like that shit. Like, you see what I'm saying, though? Like, you're asking me about a name that is fine. Like, see, below 2022. And this is a high-quality-ass company. You see what I'm saying, though? But these are the names you want to be eyeing. This is your moment right now. You see, we'll talk about the other ones when these don't exist anymore. But, yeah, so keep bringing up these names, you guys. I like that. We could definitely talk about these all day. You see what I'm saying? Like, there are so many good names that meet this criteria. So why should we force it? Again, and if you haven't read the data, bro, people are on a buyer's strike. Again, we did on the watch list, we talked about the whole like retail buying and the percentage, but again, people this morning, we were listening to it, they were saying how people like for like 60, 90 days, Scott Besant brought it up, how like certain activities, you know, and investors are acting as institutions are the ones dumping, but investors are kind of going slow and they're buying good names and then avoiding the other ones. Then, okay, got a little red here. It was Slick Charts. Yeah, that was the one with the year-to-date gain. Yeah, I got a decent red. He did that at the top here. The ball's been bouncing from here, but stupid-ass day. NASDAQ barely red. Just green. I gave you guys the checkup a little bit ago. It's 8:30. Let's do a push-up. But yeah, Euro close in play right now on that candle. So see what happens. You might get a big move moving forward from here. But SPY, 181 names in the green, 330 in the red. So SPY is the lagger. NASDAQ, 59 green. That flipped. You have more names green on the NASDAQ, even though it is red right now. That's crazy. And then the Dow Jones Composite, 22 green, 8 in the red. PayPal, I think I'm down on it. I like it if I'm down on it. Yeah, I think I am. I think barely, though. So be careful. We just got a good price on it, but that's it. Yeah, I'm up 4% on PayPal. Don't buy it. It's only a little bit, but I'm telling you, I love PayPal and I hate it. You know why I love it? Because I think it was a really good price at 60. Why? Because we barely went negative on it and it would go up, right? I think that was a good entry that we had. But the part I don't like about it, this thing fucking moves randomly and it'll move a lot. And a lot of people get trapped into it. So I'm going to take this moment to thank Josh. You know that? You guys know Josh Answers, youtube.com/the stock market and youtube.com/the trading fraternity. I want to thank him. You know why? Because I remember at the beginning of the year when this stock was going for $90, he banned you if you wanted to fucking buy it. You remember that? Yeah, that's why I hate this stock. Because it's just so trappy, bro. You have no idea. So many people, they bought it and against what I was telling them. And I was like, don't buy it, we're up. Don't buy it, we're up. And dude, that's 50% higher, bro. Like, what the hell? So I like it at the low end, but I would just, I wouldn't get too jumpy at the high prices. DOP? What the? DOP? What's DOP, bro? DOP. The peso? I like it. Dope. Legal. My man. Like you did UPS. I don't think those companies are at risk. But yeah, I would love to for you. I'll give you a real quick. But yeah, I don't think they are, but that's a good question. Let's find out. So UNH. Why is it taking so long to load? Yeah. Oh, no. Wait. I don't see it actually. Price to book. Okay, there it is. Yeah, 35%, dude. Nothing. So UNH, 35% payout ratio. Tiny. That's what I'm saying. That's very good. So that means 70% of their net profit is theirs. They're only paying out 30% of their profit to divvies. Yeah, it's good. I mean, that's the thing. I will tell you, in our modern world, we got used to a higher payout ratio. So in a weird way, like it's sad because nowadays I'll look at like one that's 60% and I'll be like, oh, that's not bad. But no, that's pretty bad. So 30, I would argue, is like normal. As weird as that may sound. It seems low because everybody's kind of running, but I would say 30 is just like a normal number. But that is low, I think, compared to some other peers. And then, yeah, where is it? And then, yeah, Humana, 35% as well. So they're both, like I said, those shouldn't be a worry for dividend. And I didn't really ever check them like that. But they don't pay high yields. And then again, insurance is a very heavy cash flow business that always operates. And then we're back to 5528. Yeah, FTSE is up by 0.6, Germany up by 0.8, France is down, and Spain is down by 0.7. Trump or Rooney, he might, but be careful of watch autos. My email is tradingfraternity@gmail.com. What a day. Okay, a couple names on the high still. The 30-second velocity, still got those lows. Like we said, I mean, it's pretty much, as a Dow is the one doing really good. That's green. SPY has a decent amount. Why is Novartis, NVS, bro? Dude, another set. Novartis kind of running, and then MTSR, but more healthcare, more biotech. Burgum says considering taking equity stake in material companies. Lutnick, adjustments to autos are aimed at allowing domestic automakers time to grow U.S. plants and employment. Coming out now, Lutnick. So watch GM, Ford, Tesla, the whole bunch. Well, yeah, but I mean, they said it again today. I think they're going to try to do something for the first 100 days. They're waking up early. They're trying to make this an event, the administration. But this morning, Caroline Levitt said it's a great time to invest again. So I think that got people kind of ears perked, but just don't get fooled. We never know. Executive order out of extensive talks with automakers. The executive order grew out of detailed conversations with car makers. FI Fiserv. Sipping on some Fiserv. You're so glad you didn't fear purchase a vehicle? That's good. That's really good. Oh, what am I going to do? Oh, economic warfare. I should go buy a car. Oh, quickly, faster. I know if we have an economic war with China, I need to make sure I have a vehicle. That's exactly what I'll need in that situation. Quickly. Oh my gosh, Donald, why would you do this to me? So yeah, I'm glad you didn't buy a car, bro. It's good for you. Good for you. Pre-tariff pricing. I'm going to do that this weekend now. I'm going to go into a car dealer and I'm going to just act dumb. You know that? You guys want to do it? I'm going to walk into a car dealer and I'm going to just ask them hella dumb pre-tariff questions and act hella stupid. Because I'll be like, what do you mean? I'll be like, so should I do it? Yeah, like, I'm like, do you know why? So why do the prices go up? Oh. Wow, that makes sense. I'm going to offer to pay them more. You know what I'm saying? So they're going to offer me the pre-tariff price, and I'll be like, well, but your point. I'll be like, wow, you're so correct. I'll be like, can I give you more? I would like to pay more for the vehicle. I want to make sure. Only if I use the voice. Ooh, hey. There's a guy on Twitter who copies your watch list and uses it as his own. I would say at least like 10% of Wall Street, but at the end of the day, you know, for all of you guys wondering, you're like, where do I get news? The Wire, how do you get this? I have old videos on it if you would like it, but you got to realize, you know, the people that I gave it to for free and have chosen to monetize it and, you know, do that, you should blame them. So go to those guys and tell them, but they're the reason why you don't get free shit. So, but I'm sorry, but yeah, it is what it is. Burgum considering taking equity stake. Yeah, that's who it was. Burgum. MP? Yeah, bro, we had that. I gave you that headline a couple minutes ago, but I guess I didn't realize it was MP. Yeah, literally just popped $2 off of that. Oh, that would have been our play. I said the headline. I just didn't think of tying it to a company. I don't know why, because it didn't have a ticker there, but yeah. Respectfully, don't do that. You're a business manager for a dealership. That would suck to waste someone's time trying to make a living. I respect what you do, but that's really rich coming from an auto dealer. Do you know how many car dealerships I've been to in my life? Why are you acting like y'all are fucking good people? Why are you like, oh man, we try and make, okay, then stop lying to consumers. How about that? And stop taking an extra 3 points on the financing and give them a low interest rate. And why don't you and stop trying to sell them the fucking clear wrap and the vehicle tracker for $700? How come the finance manager makes $250,000 a year? And why aren't you fully disclosing the financing of every vehicle? So, yeah, I won't waste your time, but let's try to be nice to consumers, you know, and help them out if you are a car dealer. So, yeah. But he said, you act like I was wasting the time of a food bank or something. You made me seem like I've been talking about a car dealerships that have promoted the rumor and the false narrative of buying a vehicle because of a fucking tariff and that in parading it like it's a necessity. That's rich. CYTK, Big Pop, $1. It's not loading. That could be a buyout. Remember, they've done that a couple times. All right. I don't know what it is. They got cheap plays. They didn't react. Literally, I spent $20. I got more than one. Very cheap. Very cheap. I've taken a lot of these cheap ones. They have not hit this week, or at least last week. Lutnick, all cars finished in U.S. that have 85% domestic content will have no tariffs. GM's moving. Mm-hmm. Bro, these little fucking scammers, the market maker. So I got to play. It went up, and I put in an order to make it free, bro. It fills 1 cent below it, and then they wipe the whole bid. They're fucking with me today. I'm telling you, bro. That was bad today. 2 orders I just saw right before my eyes. They do the little bait and switch, and then it only filled me on one of them, and then that one right there. They literally just filled 1 cent below my limit order and then dropped it the whole entire bid. Makes no sense. But then again, I mean, so yeah. Well, I think middle of the week, we're going to do my little test. We are almost flat for April. I know. That's what's crazy is because, think about it, April, just like 2022, that whole like dump and then move around and then end of the month, we're in the same place. You guys remember that? You remember 2022, 23 when that happened? Lutnick, tariffs will apply to foreign car makers building in U.S., available to anybody who wants to build in the U.S. So, yeah. Honestly, that was supposed to be the big news today, but it was watered down by the time we opened. Then TMC on the low. So, again, that Burgum buying, MP went up, TMC went down, and then MP's kind of coming down again, but still high. Interesting. I was saying, yeah, Tesla's there. Zillow on the high. And then I don't think we have anything on cytokinesis. Post the strike, Bobby, and that's your last warning, though. You flexed another play before you didn't post. So, come on. You've been doing good, though. You've been hitting all these snakes, so come on. Come on. Tariff relief be phased in 3 years to allow automakers to produce supply chains in U.S. NTR, it's another one. Materials. I don't know if that applies to the MP. USAR, CRM. High ticker's running, bro. And we're up here. Yeah, you missed one on the, I think it was one of the QQQs. Either way, though, you've been doing good. Like I'm saying, though, be up to date with that. Otherwise, you don't have to comment. That's all. Like, it's not your responsibility. But I like to see you guys doing good, but the moment you post that, that burden is on you. Upstart. Lutnick, this is finish your cars in America and you win. Trump called out Bezos to complain about tariff label report. WMG, Tesla. Yo, WMG, Warner. Oh, what was the fucking headline? Remember there was one the other day? Oh, right here. Q1, right in front of you on the wire. Q1 subscription continues at currencies. First quarter streaming revenue cost at 5.1. Dude, they're coming out with earnings right now. I literally have WMG earnings and guidance or something. Subscription revenue growth at 9%. Analysts had forecast 6.9. So, yeah, they just came out with 30% better than expected. That's very good. I don't know how long it'll last. I hate these plays sometimes, like Paramount. But, yeah, WMG, bro. I have it on my wire. You guys can only see the top end. But, yeah, they're coming out with earnings, and it's way higher than what they guided. Stock's already up 3. ICE, tariff policies to protect and build manufacturing, says official. You a jet now, baby. What up? Thank you, man. I appreciate it, bro. For real. It's awesome, the fact that we've had some people here for a while, man. The wire's hidden on Twitch. It's hidden on YouTube, too. That's why I said you only see the top part, but I went through it. Literally, their universal EBITDA just high, way higher. So I don't know if this is a leak or if they have earnings, but it's coming on one of my wires, and it's literally giving numbers that are like 50% better than what was priced in by analysts or expected. So I think that's very interesting. But yeah, watch that. I don't have a play on it. I couldn't find one. I'm a jet. No, I don't. I only have one jet noise. Earnings was supposed to be May 8th. Oh, no way. Yeah, so I think they did good, but they're coming in. So that's very weird. Their earnings was supposed to be May 8th. I just got that, man. Yeah, dude, more margin 22.8. I could compare it if I really wanted to. Let me see if I could even find a preview. Trump reportedly called Bezos to complain about tariff label. CNN. Dude, there's no fucking, there's no news on this. Yeah, I have no preview. I have nothing on WMG. Very weird. But yeah, you heard it here first, Chatadonia. You heard it here first. Oh, man. AHR, Whirlpool, BMY. As soon as you do, I've had some really bad ones, bro. Mine won't even move. Like the other day when I'd like hover, it would change, and that's fine. But nah, dude, today I snaked them, and they snaked me on my snake. That's why they filled me on one of them, but I had one. The ask was deep as hell. There was at least 50 contracts at 1 penny, and I went for it, and I was in it, and I see my order hit, and then they change it, and they don't fill it. They did that twice. And then they gave me one at 1 penny, and then it went up 12,000%. Fucking scammers, bro. Yeah. AI will stop snakes one day. I don't think they will. There will be times where it won't hit as good, but it costs less money to just readjust, if that makes any sense. Because not everybody snakes it. It's a very small minority. So you don't need to change much to stop the couple hundred people like me, whereas it'd just be cheaper to reset the prices and control it through that way, if that makes any sense. Because, again, if news happens, things happen, prices and expectations change, it's almost impossible to prevent that, because you never know, especially in the Trump market. But it does. There's a small window, but today they had a little defense. Watching this COVID, you were broke, now making 7 figures a week. A week? Whoa! That's amazing, bro. I hope you got property with it, and I'd love to hear it, man. Congratulations. I love it, man, and praise God. That sounds amazing, bro. Hope you got a law term and cribs. You making money like that, you better get a crib. Or that's the part I'll be disappointed in, but let's go, man. Let's go. I need $1. $1 is what I need. What up, Webby? I need $1. Turn on subscriber and donation sounds. We did that back in the day. It's a lot. It's a lot, bro. It's crazy. Lutnick, auto manufacturers will pick the highest tariff that comes with their goods, and they will only pay one. That's pretty interesting. So if you have multiple tariffs, you just pay the highest one. This sounds like a reverse discount code. Automakers will pay either steel or auto tariff, whichever is higher. Oh. That sounds like less of an off-ramp. Just signed with the bank. Well, good luck, bro. I'll definitely look into whatever you sent. But let's get you a crib, bro, for real. That's it. I want you to work with a cult real estate agent. But for real, man, cribs, especially when you're touching money like that, we got to turn it into a trophy. You know, that's what I've always said with Bitcoin and all of that. Because if you have that good of revenue or profit, bro, siphon off a little bit, you won't even know it, and you'll get a crib. I'm telling you, it's a wild card multiple. But yeah, that's what I like. But good work, bro. Good work. Yeah, it is like a weird game of deal or no deal, right? I don't know, but it doesn't sound like an off-ramp. It sounds like you may not have a steel tariff, but if you're exposed to auto, you're still fucked, and then vice versa. Pepsi on the high. Wow. Okay, I need to go pee. It's almost 9, so still
nice
mad early, bro.
Stick for under $20 in theory.
BRB, God bless America. Shout out to Bits, baby.
It would give you sort of a condensed review of them, and then it would also have on a sidebar links to buy them from different websites.
If you do buy that lipstick and you've clicked on the link through ChatGPT, what I found interesting in your reporting is that OpenAI won't collect affiliate revenue from that transaction. So what's your understanding of the business model or plan going forward?
I think right now it's just like a lot of the things that OpenAI does. They test a lot of things and then they expand them. So it could change. They could have some ideas for how they want to make money. I don't know if in the future they will also not be taking affiliate revenue. That actually surprised me a bit when I asked them, are you going to be making money off of this? Because that seems like a really easy way to make some money, right? It seems like passive income stream. But they were very clear that they are not making money off of affiliate revenue when people buy a product, and the products they're showing you are not ads.
Right. Briefly, Rachel, I thought the long-term goal was that my agent's going to go off and buy everything for me. I'm not even going to have to click out into a different website, for example. Is this just like a stepping stone?
I think that there's probably going to ultimately be a bunch of different ways that people are going to want to buy things, and I think that it is possible that at some point it'll be much more common for people to say, I want this kind of thing, go buy it. You know, I authorize my credit card. I know MasterCard is trying out some ways to do payment via agents. So we could certainly see that in the next few years. But I think right now what we're seeing is just giving people more options to stay in ChatGPT.
Bloomberg's Rachel Metz, thank you very much indeed. That does it for this edition of Bloomberg Technology. This is what markets look like, right? NASDAQ 100, sort of muted gains, even though, well, it's basically flat. Economic angst. Spotify down, beat on subscribers, not on profit. There's some weakness there. And Amazon, our top story of the day, the White House accusing them of hostile acts, a report they deny. Karen.
The future of trading is here. On Robinhood, seamlessly trade stocks.
No, it's not. I still need to pee, bro.
Trump's policies.
I stopped midway.
And it would mark one of the most visible
I didn't watch
signs
out to
of
make
big
a DraftKings account.
Pushing back. Now, another signal came earlier this month when NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang made a surprise trip to Beijing to reassure officials and clients amid the tariffs and the export ban. Now, Huang heads to the White House tomorrow for an event, and it will be interesting to watch the tone here, whether Jensen Huang and others lean into support for the agenda or whether the growing strain surfaces more clearly. Remember that in less than a month, more restrictions will come into effect that will impact NVIDIA's bottom line unless the president stops them, which is looking increasingly unlikely given recent hawkish moves. Then there's Mark Zuckerberg and Meta. Arguably no tech CEO, we've talked about this, has embraced Trump more openly than Zuckerberg, right ahead of LlamaCon, Meta's first AI developer event. That kicks off today. Alibaba's latest Qwen AI model release, that is widening the gap in the U.S.-China open source AI race. A reminder that the administration's policies
will not cost the government any money whatsoever.
At home and
Majority of
abroad.
Senate backs
Even
Trump
Elon
nominee
Musk's
Purdue as ambassador to China.
It's becoming more complicated amid auto tariff uncertainty and all this back and forth. This may just be the beginning, though. Over the next 100 days, the pressure points, they are likely to grow. We've got critical developments in the Google and Meta lawsuits, the next wave of tariffs, and this week, of course, we are all focused on
I think Trump is going to be live soon.
Of the Meg 7, the tone of which could expose more political strain.
Oh, dude, we have a lot coming up. So, dude, you might have Trump live. Then they're doing another new media press briefing like yesterday. And then Lutnick, I was trying to find Lutnick right now because he's still talking.
I wonder what.
And then you have the Meta event. Then you have the Foundry event. U.S. official, 25% will stack on top of manufacturing rate. That's what Lutnick said, pretty much. So watch out, though. Like I said, that did not sound like an off-ramp.
Can you choose all of the above? I mean, going into this administration, I think there was this idea that regulation would ease back, that these lawsuits could get any worse than they were. And, you know, even some investors were talking about maybe the new DOJ would not push.
I think VKTX was earnings, and then a lot of biotechs, Pharma have done very well today.
Tariffs is maybe a layer that many of them didn't expect to that extent. China, I think, you know, especially we've talked about this a lot, guys. The folks I talk to think that this is the wrong policy when it comes to constraining or restricting China, that we should be focused more on our own innovation. So there's just so many things, and it feels like the list just keeps growing and growing. And that's why earnings this week will be so important as well. What is there? What other kinds of risks from this political environment that maybe investors
Wednesday? Then I have no idea.
Aware of that the CEOs are having to face?
Yeah, and it's not just the U.S. these companies need to deal with. I mean, the Germans are looking for alternatives.
Oh,
to
it could be the NVO
Canada's
thing.
Talked about rolling back rebates on Tesla.
Intel, big pop.
To feed when it comes
not
to
really. You're excited, but it's moving up. That Foundry event is starting.
A tech check today.
Stocks are hanging in. I mean,
parts
they're
offset
doing quite
availability
well,
only to be
around the open, which was
producing,
lower.
making,
We're now
selling the car.
Across the board, NASDAQ kind of flatlining here.
Yeah, Intel's moving, but yeah, not like that.
Are a
not
mixed
like
bag.
that.
You do have names that are economically sensitive.
I
like
know who's
Honeywell,
holding Intel calls.
That's being well received, and there's some guidance raises.
Oh, it showed a $5 pop.
Novartis, for instance, on that. SoFi, Spotify. Yep. I mean, ones that aren't as exposed to the macroeconomic environment.
It's a lot of shares, but yeah, it did not go up $5. It went up 10 cents. Still decent. Like I said, that event is going to be starting. ASML now. They just popped. That's a big one. $3 ASML into the highs.
Halftime report. I'm Scott Wapner. Front and center this hour, 100 days in for President Trump.
Are they about to call out plays? So watch out. You might get a couple of the CNBC pumps here if they start doing that. But other than that, did you guys do your push-ups too 30 minutes ago? Because I went to the bathroom. But yeah, get ready though. You got Josh Brown. Let's see.
Now mixed day.
Pump NVO, Josh. Come on.
The Russell's red.
Intel Foundry is engaged with lead customers.
Trying for its 6th straight day of gains. But as I said, 100 days.
Okay, Intel's moving a little more now.
That people were looking for.
Again, they have an event that's about to start, or may have already started.
Over that period. The Nasdaq's down 11.5, and then the Russell's worse than that, as many of you know. The EUSA is the 5th worst performing country ETF. Only Turkey, Thailand, Indonesia, and Taiwan have performed worse. Wall Street Journal's editorial board today says at 100 days, Trump 2.0 is in trouble. I think the point here is it is certainly not what many people expected. Not back on election night when we talk to investors, many of whom you know. Let's watch.
If Trump gets elected, we think those tax cuts will provide further stimulus, so we're not going to need as many rate cuts.
From back then.
So I think the backdrop looks incredibly constructive.
I mean, what we talked about on the watch list yesterday was very important at the end.
Him gaining the lead tonight. If animal spirits come back for companies, and if businesses have cost of money fall, and
yeah,
if they're...
I said it yesterday. I'd take it with a grain of salt, but literally, Trump's first 100 days are the worst since Nixon, if you measure it via the stock market, which is mind-boggling. And I say take it with a grain of salt because I do think we're going to end up a lot different, either worse or better by the end of the year. But here is your irony. Are you ready? At the peak of the decline, we got through it. Duolingo and Google AI. Is it actually moving, though? Oh, they're just getting clapped. Google has AI languages. So, yeah, Duolingo might go down on that. Watch out for that. People have been getting really bearish on Duolingo. Mm-hmm. NVO. Is it moving? Is it Josh Brown?
Use this opportunity to yank guidance or
Hold
to
on.
give like very wide, broad guidance that's not really very useful to anyone.
I think he's
And
going
we're
to say
seeing a lot of
NVO,
that.
bro.
And so far, the market has been okay with it. The market has been accepting. They understand. They don't necessarily need very specific guidance. People that are trading these stocks understand that they're trading them under this cloud of
Josh
uncertainty.
Brown
And so
from
far,
downtown.
we've kind of been okay. It really hasn't been as bad as a lot of people had.
All right, we'll see what he says. But this is what I was trying to show you guys. I think this is fascinating. At the peak of our downside here, and again, the data, the hard data, is not bad at all. You lost $6 trillion of household equity in the United States, right? That's pretty bad. However, 2021 to 2022, you actually had another 30% lower of losing wealth, and you started at a higher point, technically. So under Biden, you went through a way worse decline, but nobody was, again, Biden had a very good 100 days. Biden, then this was right after, but you've heard more noise about this. And again, it is objectively bad. Again, it doesn't help that Donald Trump put out a very mind-bogglingly aggressive plan. But it's just like, dude, we've heard more uncertainty, more articles about this than anything of this. And that is that's the thing. No, this sell-off was big and it was quick, but I don't think it's you've definitely done something very similar, but you didn't see everybody up in arms about it in the same way. Yeah, and at one point you had 9% inflation. Now you have hard data that's probably the best it's been in a couple of years. Lip Bouton is talking. Ooh. I have not gotten downtown Josh Brown on MVO, so we'll see. But we'll throw up some intel. Lip Bouton. Well, we talked about it yesterday. I'm going to make another video on it, but what we talked about last night with the deficit and the tax plan is very important. And I think whatever Biden and everybody did good or not, hold on. Meta launches standalone AI app to compete with ChatGPT. Oh, wow. And then Amazon's running. Spy might break out here. And then literally Meta standalone AI app. So now they're going to make their own Llama app or own AI like Threads and all that shit. And then ASML was just earnings, actually. Again, they're European. Who's the other one? Let's get up Intel. ASML to buy back. Again, who else had the buyback? Wells Fargo. That had a reaction, so watch that too. Intel Foundry, Engage. Yeah, that one's there. We already got that one. Again, I think you need something big. You need like a good client announcement or say that you're competing with your boy Nvidia. Yeah, but like I was saying, though, the thing about the whole household wealth decline, it just sucks because I'm telling you, man, Wall Street dumped ahead of everybody. And even though it doesn't, like I'm saying, like some people don't even comprehend really what Donald Trump did. It wasn't that good. And there's a lot of implications, but, you've had way more like fear promotion than any time when you lost almost 12 trillion. You know what I'm saying? Like it was a lot different. You had more people kind of defending the drops and telling you transitory, it'll be okay. Don't overthink it. Buy EV, all of that. But this time around, It was just more, no, like you got a lot of uncertainty, and a lot of people played along with it, man. Yeah, the Duolingo stuff. Is it still going down? Oh, it bounced already. Damn. Again, Meta too. You got Meta and Intel events right now. So Intel for chips, Meta for Llama and AI. And then Lutnick still too. Automakers told Trump they need help, relief to boost hiring plans. Yeah, Bond, it started with Besant, but it's actually kind of big. Low key, it was a little smaller earlier, but 0.5% at a new high of the week. Not too bad. Lutnick, 2 years was agreed to give manufacturers time to build up. Oh, dude, what? Bro, 2 years. Oh, come on. Go check GM and Ford. Bro. 2 years. So at least they have 2 years to fucking get this set up. That's, bro, what are we talking about, bro? 90-day pause. Now you're telling me 2 years? That's not. I think it's a gigantic off-ramp. That's crazy. He said there's no third year of relief. So now these auto steel guys will get 2 years to build out any plant and move. Lutnick just said that. Well, I mean, we'll talk about it a little bit, but I think they got to do the other stuff. I think they're feeling some of the pressure. Oh, Tyler! Oh, that's $1 million a week right there, baby. 50 of them. Oh, let's go, baby. Woo! Amen. I love it, bro. I appreciate you, man. I saw the email. I didn't read it then. Like I said, I'm not reading emails during the day, but I'm proud of you, man. I look forward to hearing about it, man, and keep it up. Real estate, though, I'm not going to shut up about it. Trust me. Believe me. Real estate. So if that's the next step, we going to get you the next step on there. I'm telling you, man, I'm a big fan. Big fan. And now 50 new members. Are you ready? So now the real question is, how many people am I going to randomly ban all of a sudden? Because I don't know. Let's find out on the next episode of Stock Market Live. As Tyler makes $1 million a week, he goes to show Josh his appreciation, freeing 50 of the Chad immigrants stuck in purgatory. Oh, I hate you, Josh! Fuck you! I hate you! I'm not a member, but we should keep it members only. You're a sellout! I hate you! I hated you then! I hate you now! I still hate you! What? I don't get it. Fuck Donald Trump! I'm not. You jumped up on What did I do? Okay. All right. New high. There's GM now. Again, I think that was a major off-ramp in between ADD rants. But yeah, so thank you, Tyler. He just got me excited, I love it. And I hope new members, please don't ruin it, Just for you. I would love to be friends. You see that? I don't think you're comprehending. Homeboy just was like, Josh, I've listened to you and I make $1 million a week. I didn't make this up. I didn't pay him to say that. He paid me. But all I am telling you is that let's get to it, man, and let's do good. And I follow the rules and stay locked in, and I wish you all the best. Amen. Investors are buying the 2-year versus the 10-year because the 2-year is still high and it's sensitive to policy. So if there is going to be a Fed action, that would cut. But if you mean to tell me I could get, 0.5% less, maybe 1%, but only 2 years instead of 10, and then if there is a rate cut, you'll still lock in the high rate that will never go back up there until the next cycle, it makes a lot of sense. So, and that's like the weird part when we have like a flattened yield curve or a barely normalized yield curve of like 0.25%, 0.5%. Good question. We've talked about this a lot in the past when the 2-year was sensitive. That's why the 2-year has less risk. If you haven't realized, that's why the long end can move around, but the 2-year will be way, way more stable. I make 3 figures a week and follow the rules. Let's go, baby. I think you guys will realize one day everything here is scalable. You know, the long term, we got a small one 10 times as big. And that's the point. That's why I'm telling y'all. Take your shit seriously. Save up. Because we all started from somewhere. And if you are wise with it and you do good, I think you will be shocked what you can accomplish. You know, whether, again, even Homeboy was saying how he started off, it wasn't a good situation. So, you know, you could scale it however. And I'm telling you, you save money, you take advantage of the opportunities, you lock in, take advantage of your own damn potential. Bet on yourself. Come on. Everything starts 3 figures, bro. 100, anything. Go make an extra $10 a day, homeboy. $20 a day will change your life. They don't feel me. See, don't despise the days of small beginning. You know, someone got mad at me. I said this 2 years ago. I gave y'all a talk on just making an extra $10, $20, and I was telling you to buy houses. And someone got pissed at me for this. I got emails. Because they're, oh, boy, how offended, how dare you tell me to make an extra $10 a day? Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Yeah, bro, what are you talking about? That's $10 a day. How much is that every month? $20 a day. $30 a day, bro. We're talking anywhere from a couple $100 to $1,000 extra a month just by finding a small way to increase. And if you're telling me that's small, then great. It should be easy. That's it. Best way to, ready for this? You guys all love this. Trump to sign 3 orders on auto manufacturing. Come on, Chad. Y'all know this quote. The best way to make $1 million. If you can't think of one way to make $1 million, think of 1 million ways to make $1. That changes someone's life every time they hear it, bro. They don't feel me, but once they do, that should open a light bulb to somebody. Ford and GM are going now. There it is. Again, Lutnick's still talking, and then Trump is going to sign that bill related to these 2-3 years. So, yeah. If you can't think of one way to make $1 million, think of 1 million ways to make $1, and you will become a millionaire. Oh, Trump is doing the 100-day speech at a community college, 6 p.m. So after the bell. So whatever celebration thing. I think we're going to get more tomorrow, too. And then the automakers, like I said, that was supposed to be the big news of today. And then we kind of faded it, and now some of them are kind of coming back. High ticker's almost fully gassed. Habibi. LH still, Laboratory Corp, or LabCorp. Laboratory. Amazon says this was never approved and isn't going to happen. That's so funny. Bro, Amazon for the last 3 hours. Like, no, bro, we didn't. It was just an idea. No, I wasn't going to do it. No. So, yeah. First baby in December. Wow, congratulations. That's exciting. Another Chad. Get him a long term. Get him a long term now. A screenshot of your small long term for the last 3 years. I'll check in a second. Well, yeah, I'm scared. I'm scared of opening my email during market hours now. That's it. I just let it be. If Amazon followed through, White House would have got mad, but it was just kind of random. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's a very, because Bezos was at the inauguration. Bezos was like, you thought he was chill with Trump. But then that's why it's kind of odd. But then again, White House was the one who broke it. White House just had the info. That's the scary part. So the White House knew because they are the ones who broke the news. This morning when Caroline Leavitt said it, we were like, what? But she was the one who brought it up. Oh, did a reporter ask? I need to go and follow up because I didn't hear about that until the White House thing because it wasn't really like a big deal. And then she said it. And then they said it was like they didn't view it as a positive thing or whatever. And then it started to move. And then literally every hour we've heard some update. They're like, we didn't do it. Promise. Yeah, Pfizer's up 4. TLT with the 9, bro. But, dude, you guys were at 94 2 weeks ago. So, unfortunately, this is very good. We're out of the danger zone. And then maybe Besant stops selling bonds, but I'm not. Just like the market, man. It's all great if we could move up and all, but the safety and certainty of staying up, that's what we got to watch out for. So, we need to get far away from here. I need to go really, really far away from the trauma. Otherwise, I think you could still relapse, says the bond market. Is the White House presser on? Dude, there's so many fucking events. Yeah. New media.
0.2%. Remote work among federal employees has fallen over 16 percentage points from March last year to March this year, showcasing the success of President Trump's initiative to bring federal workers back to the office. We know middle-class Americans, hardworking people, they have to show up to the office every day. We expect bureaucrats and government workers to do the same, especially when they are living off of the taxpayer's dime. If you want to work on behalf of the American taxpayer, you should show up to work in person. Thanks to President Trump, Americans are seeing the first price relief in years. The last inflation report showed the first consumer price decline in years, a decrease in energy prices, and real average hourly wage growth. President Trump is delivering on his promises to lower costs for American families and businesses. Prescription drug prices are down. Last month's drop in prescription drugs prices was the largest ever recorded. And thanks to President Trump ending Joe Biden's reckless war on American energy, gasoline prices and energy prices are down as well. The cost of wholesale eggs has decreased more than 50%. The President Trump inherited a complete mess from the Biden administration, who totally botched their response to the bird flu. They were killing chickens. They were killing our chicken supply in this country, which led to an increase in egg prices.
I don't get it. They killed them all.
Secretary Rollins did an
Why,
incredible
Biden?
job
Now no one talks
attacking
about
that
eggs.
on day one.
I love
on
eggs.
On the deregulation front, President Trump is launching the largest deregulation campaign in American history. He has blocked all of the unfinalized Biden-era rules, which has saved us more than $180 billion already. He's launched a bold multi-agency effort to roll back existing federal regulations that drive up the cost of living on hardworking families. That has yielded more than $755 billion in total savings as well. And as you all know, investments from companies around the world continue to pour into this country. Every morning we wake up to a new headline with a new company from a different country announcing major investments in our country. What does that mean for people in your communities across the nation? It means jobs. It means Americans going to work. It means Americans providing for their families, for their children, living the American dream. That's what those investments will do. It's truly the golden age of America. And that's why the president is working so hard to leverage good trade deals around the world. He knows America is the best place in the world to do business. He is using our leverage to negotiate good deals with countries around the world, to onshore manufacturing jobs here, to revitalize our middle class and our manufacturing industry, and also to protect our national security. I don't think any American agrees it's good that China currently supplies and produces our chips, our pharmaceuticals, and our critical industries. We want those things built in the United States of America. And President Trump is the first president in modern times to actually do something about that. So with that said, today is 100 days. There have been so many achievements, not just on the economic front, and the president continues to work very hard on tax cuts as well. And on negotiating those trade deals, but look at the success at the southern border, which we talked a lot about yesterday with our border czar Tom Homan, Secretary Kristi Noem, Stephen Miller here at the White House, all of whom are doing a tremendous job and have created, at the president's direction, the most secure border in American history. We have a mass deportation campaign of illegal aliens underway. We are removing heinous criminals from your communities across the country. Every single day, we are making America safe again. And if you look abroad on the world stage, the president is really using his peace through strength foreign policy approach once again. To the rest of the world knows that America is back. I know Joe Biden used to say that, but we're stealing it from him because it's actually true now with President Trump in the Oval Office.
Crypto,
the world
MSTR.
is a safer place and will continue to be. So thanks for coming to the Influencer Briefing. I look forward to taking your questions. And Deborah, why don't you kick us off?
On 100 incredible days. And over the first 100 days, the majority of policies that we've seen from the Trump administration have been either targeted at foreign affairs, such as bringing the American hostages home or attempting to end the war between Ukraine and Russia, or on long-term goals such as cutting government spending with DOGE. What policies can we expect to see rolled out over the next few months that Americans will directly feel the effects of in order to secure the 2026 midterms for the Republican Party and keep his approval rating historically high?
Yeah, the first answer that comes to mind, Deborah, is definitely tax cuts. The president is working closely with Congress as we speak. He met with leadership from both chambers. The administration met with leadership from both chambers yesterday to talk about how
bonds
pass
up,
the largest tax cuts
coming
in American
down.
history. And the president promised on the campaign trail he wanted no tax on tips, no tax on Social
She
Security.
was fine. Did I see her? You really spent 5 messages to tell me that?
He intends to keep those promises.
At
and 9:30? Congress
9:30?
has helped to do so. That's why he's working
You're
closely
wild,
with
bro.
them. But you look at,
You're
again, I
wild.
talked about the leverage the president uses to negotiate good trade deals around the world. But
So is that
he
our
uses
first?
that
Is that our
leverage right
first
here in
random
Washington
ban?
as
I
well,
see.
on Capitol
Remember what I was
Hill.
telling you
He has
earlier?
great
That's one.
relationships with leaders on both
That's
chambers,
1 out of 50.
And we are confident that
Yeah.
we can pass a
That's
massive
one.
tax bill, which will directly lead to more money in people's pockets right away. Sure, go ahead.
Yeah, so the president has really wanted to end the war in Ukraine for a long time now and has been working on that in the first 100 days. We've seen President Zelensky come here, as well as the president meeting with President Zelensky just in the last couple of days.
Spotify's coming up, and then
where those
MSTR.
talks stand, and if the president is optimistic that conflict is going to wrap up shortly.
The president is optimistic yet realistic about the incredibly complicated and unfortunate situation happening with Ukraine and Russia. First of all, this is Biden's war. It would have never started if President Trump. There is a reason that Putin did not invade Ukraine when President Trump was in the Oval Office, and it's because, again, President Trump leveraged the power of the United States to warn Putin not to do it. And the president has spoken about that and those direct warnings to the Kremlin that he gave in his first term. And then we had a mentally incompetent president in Joe Biden who didn't even know what day it is, never mind knew how to prevent war. And the entire world took advantage of that and took advantage
come on,
of
Caroline,
America's
that's not fair.
lackluster leadership
He
abroad.
was talking.
And so we've had this
He
this
could
terrible
stand
war.
up.
The president talks about it
How
all the
dare
time.
you.
He's briefed on it constantly.
Nah, he could
There
say
are
he
men
was able to
dying on the
talk
front
and
lines of
stand.
this.
That's
An entire
not
generation is
like
being
what?
wiped out. And enough is enough.
We're not
The
giving
president has
that
made it
enough
very
credit.
clear he wants to see
Right,
this end
Elizabeth?
at the negotiating table, not
Tell
on
him,
the
Elizabeth.
battlefield. He has spoken directly to both sides of this war. He most recently met with President Zelensky at the Vatican when he attended the funeral of Pope Francis. And he remains optimistic that both sides will come together to negotiate peace. There are a lot of complexities on both sides of this war, but so he's realistic about that, but he is optimistic that we are moving in the right direction. And if you just take a step back and look at where we are now, where you have concessions from both sides publicly, where you have ceasefire proposals from both sides. The president's made it clear he wants a permanent ceasefire first, but you actually have the United States talking to Russia. You have the United States talking to the Ukrainians on a daily basis, communicating with both sides. Look at that compared to where we were when we came into office, where neither side was talking. There was just one approach to ending this war. No one was really talking about a peace deal. We were just talking about continuing to send blank checks to continue funding the fighting and the killing. This war has been a meat grinder. Young men are dying. Women and children are dying as a collateral result of the military conflict, and the president wants to see it end as quickly and soon as possible. And I can tell you, watching firsthand, he has exuded a tremendous amount of effort into this war. He's getting frustrated with the amount of effort this has taken, and he's made that clear to both sides, but he remains optimistic that we can get this done. Brendan.
I was wondering if you'd indulge me in a quick round of Trump trolling or Trump truthing.
Sure, let's do it.
Okay, good.
Love it.
Rapid fire. Greenland joining America.
Definitely Trump truthing.
Canada becoming a 51st state.
Trump truthing all the way. And the Canadians would benefit greatly, let me tell you that.
Eliminating the IRS.
I think that is an optimistic goal, and the president, so I would say we're on the side of truthing there for sure, and the president, again, wants to see tax cuts, and he wants to see this massive revenue that we can gain from tariffs as well, which will create the external revenue service, so that's a definitive goal for sure.
And most importantly, Trump 2028.
Trump trolling, although the hats are flying off the shelves. Yes. Link, go ahead.
So one thing I've noticed in the first 100 days is that the White House is crawling with kids. You have a young, beautiful baby boy. There are babies everywhere. There's so many young folks on staff who have kids. But the last 4 years under Joe Biden, parents were really stressed and ravaged. They had to take on 2 or 3 extra jobs. Depression rates were up. Suicide rates were up. You're a very high-profile young mother who seems to juggle and balance it all beautifully. What advice do you have to young parents out there who are starting their careers, having kids, building families, and trying to find that balance so desperately?
Yeah, well, it's a great question. And first, to the heart of your premise, it's true. The president has empowered not just me as a young mother in this role, but there are so many new moms and dads on our senior staff in the West Wing, but also across the entire administration. There are working moms and dads who are owing our country public service for President Trump while raising young families, and the president really empowers us to do that, and I commend him for that. He doesn't get enough credit for it. But as for the president is implementing policies every day to uplift young families and young people. He talked so much about young people and talked directly to young people so much on the campaign trail. It really, I think, inspires him when he is around young people and a young audience, and he wants to restore the American dream for the next generation, not just our generation of young folks, but our children and our grandchildren. What does that look like? Home ownership, the ability to afford a home, to live, to have a good paying job. That's part of this effort to onshore jobs, because you have an entire generation going to these incredibly expensive and liberal higher education universities, coming out saddled with debt and then unable to get a good paying job. The president wants to put an end to that, and so that young people can provide for their families and truly live the American dream. So to young people around the country, the president hears you, he sees you, he loves you, and he wants to uplift you. And all of the policies he's implementing every day are to provide a more prosperous and safe and free America for future generations. You're welcome. Sure.
Nice to meet you.
Hi,
Caroline.
you too.
Thank you so much for the time.
Sure.
Tagging off of Link's question about young people, one of the most pressing challenges for Gen Z right now is the lack of home ownership. As of 2025, I believe the median age is 38 years old of first-time home buyers, which is, a hindrance to starting families for a lot of people. How does the Trump administration plan on tackling this in the next 4 years?
It's a major issue. As you mentioned, that's directly impacting young people and young families. And the president is I think, tackling it head on already. The reason that homes have become so unaffordable is because of the massive inflation crisis caused by the previous administration. Not just the cost of a home, but everything that goes into building a new home went up and through the roof, right? We also saw mortgage rates reach incredible highs under the previous administration. So a few things. The president wants to bring down the cost of living, which he is already doing, as I mentioned in my opening remarks, which will increase our supply of homes across the country. But he also wants to bring down mortgage rates and interest rates to make it easier for young people and all people to borrow money, to take out those loans, to buy your first home. And so we got to increase the supply, bring down costs, and bring down interest rates and mortgage rates. And by the way, those are all things.
Oh, dude, I am muted. Yeah, I was saying Russell's breaking out.
Inflation was a record
Oh,
low,
dude, I was saying all the home ownership. I was talking
interest rates,
shit.
mortgage rates also
I was like, are you kidding me, man?
So this
the
is a
average
proven
rate
economic
of
formula
a homeowner is
that
38 years
works. It takes
old.
time to get there. We are
And for
in
the last
process
5
of
years,
the golden
I have
age,
documented
the
and
president,
tried to
and
help
are
this
slashing
and
regulation
get as
every
many
day,
young people
cutting red
saving
tape,
in a
cutting
home.
costs, and we need,
And
again,
I got
Congress to
banned
pass
more
those
than all
tax
these
cuts to put
fools.
more money back in people's
And I'm the
pockets,
bad
so they
guy.
have greater purchasing
When
power
this is
as well.
like the biggest thing to our society, bro. Are you kidding me?
Independent women and
So yeah.
WMAL.
Oh, great.
We love.
And then I told you guys, listen, any comments, if you're like, this girl hot, or where's the other blonde, like, listen, it's 10, it's any girl comments ahead of 10 a.m., I'm just banning your ass, okay? Okay, in my mind, you got to be focused. If you distracted by a pretty girl before 10, I'm sorry. You didn't make the cut.
W2 employees, not
So,
9 to 5
yeah, watch
workers,
out.
but who hang their own shingle. You know, they're 1099 workers. We saw the Biden administration really try to crack down on that small business entrepreneurial spirit, and we're hopeful that the administration would overturn what the Biden administration did and maybe even work with Congress to pass some lasting changes, codify some lasting changes that would protect, you know, your ability to be self-employed, your ability to be a small business owner.
Well, the president is a businessman at heart himself, right? He's a real estate developer, and I think that's a large reason the American people elected him the first time.
All right,
and the
another
second
one.
time
So
because,
3. I've
they
already gotten
trusted
3.
him. And small businesses are the backbone of
That's
our
beautiful.
American economy. I come from a small business family myself, and the president knows
I've already
what
gotten
small
3
business
chats.
families need, and independent
That's what I was saying. So
contractors
that's not
need,
bad. It's not
entrepreneurs
10%
need.
yet.
You need less government in the way. You need less regulation. You need low
Damn, you
energy
fell for
costs,
his bait
low
comment.
taxes,
Now that's
a low
4.
cost of living, a low cost
Okay,
of goods.
he got you
And
by
that's exactly what the
interacting.
president is
You
focused on
interacted
doing,
with the ban
while
comment.
simultaneously
That was
effectively
foolish.
leveraging tariffs
That's
to
4
protect
now.
our middle class and our working class and our manufacturing base. You look at our auto industry. Think about Michigan.
I mean,
It used
MSTR
to
has
be
been on a tear.
the
Bitcoin futures are
heartland
kind
of the auto industry of the
stable, but
world. It was the auto capital of the world, and unfortunately,
yeah,
so many
Bitcoin
of
is
those
waking
jobs
up
have
now
gone
finally, and Wells Fargo.
overseas. And so the president wants to protect good-paying jobs here at home and unleash the might
So
of
if you
our
posted
economy for
what you
small
had, you
business
can.
owners.
You
And that
can, but
removes,
you didn't.
and that includes
You just said
removing
SoFi
red tape
calls or
and
Pfizer
cutting
calls. You did
taxes,
not post the exact
and
play
as for,
or the
independent
strike. I would advise
contractors
you to
and what the
keep your
president
mouth
would hope
shut
to do with
about your
Congress.
play,
We'll definitely
gain or
check back
loss.
in on that,
If you
and
don't
get
want to
you an
get banned.
answer, because it's an important
27 in escrow, baby.
Go up to the National Pulse. You kind of gave us an overview of negotiations between Ukraine and
Amen,
Russia
bro.
100 days in.
I love
What
it.
would the next steps
You have
look
no
like, though, if we
idea.
don't reach an agreement by, say, this summer?
That's what I'm saying, bro.
Also, can you give us an update on the
Like,
rare
for
earth
real.
minerals deal
All
with
of this,
Ukraine?
even the
And is there
stuff
any
with the
kind of response
long-term
from the
alerts,
administration
bro.
to Greenlandic foreign
Bro,
minister,
are you kidding me?
Vivian Motzfeldt,
All the bans by Google, all the weird people
Sure.
getting weird with
So your
me,
first question
making
about
me
critical
seem like a
minerals deal, the
bad
president
guy.
is confident
When
that
I
will
was
sign-
telling you
that
all
will be
this
signed.
spending,
Ukraine needs to sign
inflation,
it.
all
They
of this
should
shit,
sign
bro.
it. It's not just good for
And
the
the
United States.
first-time
to
home buyers are
recoup the billions
38
of
years
tax dollars
old.
We've spent and onshore
ridiculous.
some of those critical minerals, but certainly it's good for the Ukrainian people when this war is over to rebuild their country. It's an economic
I appreciate
partnership
you, Addison.
between
Thank
the
you,
United
man,
States
for
and
real.
Ukraine. That's
So
what the
those of you who
president
vibe with me,
envisions,
it's been
and he
a
wants
great
Ukraine to
time.
sign that
We
deal.
just,
He's confident that they will.
gotta
As for what it would
encourage
look like
people
later
to
down the
lock
road, I
in.
don't want to get ahead of the president,
MSTR
obviously,
again.
but again, I will reiterate, he's increasingly grown frustrated in the amount of time our Secretary of State recently said, there's not much
Can you
more
get
time or
banned
effort
if you
the United
flex
States
losses
has
if
to
you don't
give,
post the play?
to this effort, and
So
we need both
Mercator,
sides to come to the
I think
table,
I want to ban
to
you because you've
negotiate.
been here for
As
too
for
long.
Greenland,
You
it's-
interact.
I hadn't seen those
and you're
comments.
in here every
true,
day.
I'm sure
You see what
they
I'm
are,
saying?
certainly
So why are you
interesting
going to be
strategy
cute
to
and
cozy
shit?
up to communist China Greenland needs
Yeah, I
the
think
United
we'll ban
States
you.
of America.
We'll
We
make you earn it a
subsidize
little
their
bit.
national security
And
and their
on, because
defense.
that's what I'm saying.
And the
You're
president
here every
has
day, bro.
rightfully
You ask
pointed out
questions.
the
I
great
engage with you.
strategic
So why
importance
would you?
that Greenland serves for
Yeah,
not
don't be
just our
cute.
national security and economic
You know the
interests,
answer.
but for our country and for the world as a whole.
UNH, bro. Whoa, UNH. It's still just doing bad.
To continue to infiltrate places like Greenland or the Panama Canal, I may add. Into the back.
Can you talk about the importance of a stock market all-time high, and, specifically in relation to the
Well, listen,
midterms?
man, it's okay.
Seems
I'm not
like a lot of
bothered by
folks,
I feel bad for you guys if
they
I ban
thought
you,
that
but
stock market
at the end
goes
of the day,
up. He really
you can
cares
make a
about
new
that,
account
using
and pay
as a measurement of
for
the
it
economy.
and try
It's
again.
gone down, but still
Other
up,
than
in
that,
the last
though,
12 months or so. So
you
how
keep
much of that
moving
is
on
playing
and
to
you
the
do
economic
good if
policy
you're locked
decisions?
in.
I think the
Let the
president
not
has
locked
spoken on
in
this.
stay
He
unlocked.
said the stock market gets yippy, but he doesn't get
Yalla.
yippy. He trusts in his
Trump
economic
confident
agenda
Ukraine
and
mineral deal will
formula,
be signed. Oh, that's
obviously.
Levitt.
And Wall Street made out very well in President Trump's first term. President Trump also wants to look out for
And
Main
under
Street,
Biden.
and
Gold
do
on the
what's
high
best,
now.
for both. So I think the president right now, his main focus, what drives him to make decisions, is what's best for the working class Americans, for the American worker, for the small business owner, for American families, and he's trying to correct the wrongs.
Nah,
of
no
the last
UPS.
several
It didn't go
decades,
down.
Not just the last 4 years with the economic and inflation nightmare caused by the Biden administration, but of the unfair trade practices that have ripped off our country for a very long time. So look, the stock market goes up, it goes down, but President Trump has a goal, he has a vision, and he's remaining very much committed to that.
Something
Thank
about
you so much,
Fitch
everybody,
and
for joining today.
construction
We're heading
and
off to Michigan tonight
agriculture.
for a big rally.
But yeah,
so
gold is
I am
rocketing
sure we'll
up
see
right
all of
now,
your
and you got your first little
amazing
red.
creative content on social media later. It's going to be a great speech, and maybe you'll get a Trump dance too. So thank you so much for coming today. It's a pleasure to have you here. Thank you.
All right. That was nice. Good to hear. Nothing really. We've been doing this. We've been getting random candles, but there is something from Fitch, the credit agency, right now, but I don't think that's it. The Trump dance is wild. But not bad, bro. Not bad. We're still this is very small from last week. And, the worry is always going to be the, what's it called? The back and forth and whether or not the speed is there. So we will see. But other than that, Chad Adonia, got 20 minutes till Philo. About halfway through the day. Let me see where staples are at. Other than that, though, I do think healthcare was healthcare pharma was a real standout today. Vice Chairman Martin, SMB introduced new emergency liquidity framework. Wow. All right. Why? That was the question all day today. Why? Why are we up? Why are we down? Nothing. So, yeah, patience. Oh, yeah, oil. You just said that. I wanted to look. And then Bitcoin, that all day. Bitcoin in healthcare. I typed in Bitcoin. Yeah, oil back to 60. Oil's down 2.7 today. Remember last week, 2 weeks ago, we did get some OPEC stuff. And that's it. Over options. For futures, just be mindful. I would go with micros right now. That's all. I don't feel safe with the range. So we've had this discussion about a week or two ago, and then literally the market got the bottom pulled out, and then you ripped 7%. So that's what you got to be careful for with the futures. I like the cheap options again. So last week or two, I've taken a couple of losses. One of them was bigger on MSTR. That was my biggest play. Other than that, every other one of the plays are like $20, $30. So as long as I'm keeping them small, I've been making a lot more with the options. But I'm not opposed to futures or selling premium, but I am trying to explain and trying to help people out so they're safer, that you have to understand both the advantage and disadvantage right now of futures or selling premium. So I think premium is probably the best strategy right now. However, you're going to make less money. And if you try to make more money, then you change the risk completely. And then it's not that good of a deal. And then same thing with futures. I think you could profit off of the tighter swings way better on futures and get dollar for dollar. But the disadvantage is one random Trump quote, one random headline, gap down, the market, God knows what. And then we start moving 4 or 5% again, those are going to add up real quick, very, very largely. So you got to selling premium futures. You just got to watch out for the back end. And that's why I said be mindful of that, and you will be good. VRK? And Spotify green, yeah, is that still red? Oh, yeah, it's still red, but that came up a lot. No stop loss. I mean, you can use a stop loss for futures, but, I mean, you're just going to stop the fuck out every time. Like, you know what I'm saying? Do you not see this market? So that's just when it's all said and done. You got to know the advantages and disadvantages and approach it from the realm of safety. Approach futures, spreads, options from the realm of how do I protect myself, not really where can I make the most money right now. And if you could do that and protect it, I'm open to those strategies. But like I'm saying, you know, some of the cheaper plays on the options, as long as you don't get carried away, it hasn't been too bad. And like literally, it's actually playing out different in the sense like we're having a higher win percentage, less gains. You're not hitting 500% on everyone, but it's like there's some plays there, but you just got to keep it small. But then the losses, if you go big and then take the loss, that's where it's going to crush you on this strategy. So you got to find a way to balance that out. IWM 195, let's go, baby. Way to post it. MSTR, IWM was breaking out. IWM was the lagger on the day, and now it is leading the spot. Actually, what the fuck? It's leading the NASDAQ. Yeah. China removed a tariff on ethanol, was it? Or ethane, I believe. They said they'd suspend that. Ethane, right? Yeah. All right. You had the Trump mineral deal, too, earlier, or you had a headline on it. Tesla's a little bit of Bitcoin, I believe, in their balance sheet. Kind of moves with it here and there. Yeah, Omex, that was one of those mineral ones. TMC, and then MP, some congressman is apparently buying material stocks, and then MP went up off of that earlier. Not bad. Then you had where's the Intel event? We started listening. We were hearing those quotes. I haven't heard anything yet. But yeah, Intel, then the Meta has an event starting. What happened to those? We just got whoop. Sock sell for the long term. I would rather find an individual, but it might not be bad. That might be a good way to get the broader one. But is sock sell levered? No. So if it's levered, I would not throw that in the long term. I think I was thinking of SOX. Yeah, like the just Philly semiconductor index. Maybe if you wanted that, I could maybe consider that, but I would not be putting a 3-time levered ETF into a long term. That's like an option. That's made to decay. So it does not work for the long term, believe it or not. Little Chicle, we're holding, man, still small. Very, very small today. Long term loves it, but I love it too. I'm a big fan. Dumb short put calendar stocks with earnings. I mean, any spreads, protect yourself on the range, and then earnings is just whatever their earnings risk is. Again, some of the earnings have moved big. A lot of them, if they've moved enough and the guidance is mediocre, kind of like UPS, it chilled. That one was another one. That was a dud. But again, those are 30 cents, 40 cents a pop. So, you could play at $70 instead of having to put any amount of risk. But then again, if you keep taking too many losses, those will add up too. But yeah, like if it has earnings and if it moves like UPS, where they're like moved down a lot and then the earnings is still mediocre, that play will work for you. But if any of the big earnings, kind of like a Google, as long as you didn't panic on Google with the spread, you should have won. Yeah. We are dropping. That's 3-4 minutes. I mean, you had a little quick drop and pop there earlier, but indeed. And we're like, what, an hour 15 off a euro close? EU Manning said to put together bid for New York Giants stake. Oh, shit. Eli Manning, the fucking quarterback. Yeah. No way. So Eli Manning wants to buy the Giants. And then, whoa, LYV, big sell. Does he own LYV? Why are they dropping? So, yeah, LYV taking a candle. And then Eli Manning news. Interesting. Yeah, but LYV just took 1.2 down. I don't know. And then SPY coming down. Be on watch. Again, Trump is signing all the executive orders after the bell, and they're related to the auto stuff. Gold did I don't know if gold is green though, but it was running on that first drop, and then later it just started taking off. So it's still down on the day, but maybe. Hertz is on the low now too. So Hertz is flushing, but then LYV, keep eyes on that. I don't have a headline I'm looking, but literally LYV 3% now, or 1.6. I think it was 2 something from the top. VIX is popping. We just came down. LYV, why won't you load? UNH, yeah, they're dying already. 9:30. Oh, 7-Eleven plans to join popular festivals? That can't be it. Something about 7-Eleven. That's not it, though. But that got reiterated. Be on the lookout for that. Kind of even looks like policy, but then again, we saw 3 different companies like Tesla, and there's 2 others today. Was it CoreWeave? I don't know if CoreWeave came down. Yeah, a little bit, but or Duolingo, the news delay, it was kind of lag. So with this liquidity, this movement, I mean, just be careful, but that is big. We're looking at it. I do not have a headline. If we go down, it's a reverse of yesterday. Yeah, kind of. Just stay up and then flip. But the problem is we're doing nothing. And then just like last week, remember last week that Tesla gapped up, some of the options didn't move, and then the next day it went up 1,000%. It's just we're moving really slow the first 2 days. And again, it's there has been info, but not really. But the speed, we went from 2%. Again, yesterday was 2.5 back and forth, but we're closing 0.1%. No, maybe headline fatigue, but there really just hasn't been major developments, and then we're in the middle of this rally. You're halfway from the peak, I believe. So I think a lot of technical people are aware of this. Yo, Mexico, the fuck is this? Hold on, I didn't really check Mexico's currency. They haven't moved, but Mexican ETF is down. And then gold is still going up. SPY back at VWAP. You've tested this about 3 times in the last 2 hours. And then again, gold trying to break out. Still red on the day. Yeah, I don't know if LY. Let's go back to that. Still low, but no headline yet. Yeah, Bitcoin has been on fire all day, and I do still think your healthcare names and biotechs are doing generally better. And then staples are good. They're holding up. Not bad. Yeah, volume is still low. 20 million. Oh, my gosh. And we're about to do Philo? That's crazy. Yeah, volume's super low. I mean, we have big earnings after the bell today and every other day, but yeah, you're at 19 million, dude. You would have that done by 2 hours usually. So by like 8 o'clock, it's almost 10. So the volume's like cut in half today, pretty much. Nothing crazy. Maybe first 100 days. Maybe they need less volatility for first 100 days. Excellent reporting. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Get a long term. Oh, you know what I haven't asked you guys in a while? I kind of don't want to ask because I already had to ban 10% of the last one. But yeah, get a membership. Would any of you guys like to buy a membership, please? It's a good opportunity right now because I don't know what's going to happen, but I do if you want to hear me talk about life and Jesus and other things and then not miss anything, you might like it. So yeah, if you would like to buy a membership, now would be your time. Now would be the moment. If not, no worries, but thank you. Oh, Mr. Mo, he did work. I don't care if it was Mr. Mosby, it worked. Oh, Skittle! Oh, I swear you're already here, baby. Oh, what up, Enrico? Well, there you go, Chattadoni. See, it worked as long as one. That's all it takes is one. Membership will go up because of tariffs? No, but you gave me a good idea. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start counting the bans. So every 1,000 people that get banned, I'm going to raise the price of the membership. That's a good idea. There you go. 'Cause I didn't want to, but that's a good idea, actually. Yeah. So then that way, the more, kind of toxic it gets, the higher it will be. And that makes sense because then it'll be a higher entry to remove the toxicity. That's how you eliminate the free rider effect. Shout out to IPE. If you would like international political lessons, we have them free on the trading fraternity. But why are you punishing the good people? I'm not. I'm giving them a better time. So just like a homeowners association, I'm building you a gated community with high quality info. And the less trash you have to deal with, the better edge you get. So I'm doing it for you. But then again, I don't want to sound too much like Trump. Pre-tariff! Pablo! Jonathan! Hey, then BPC, it worked. All right, we're ready to go then. Thank you, guys. I love it, man. And all jokes aside, I do appreciate you. You have no idea. But we got to lock in, man, and take advantage of the moment. Clean up, but hate HOA. I know we all hate HOAs, right? I know. But that's what happens when people don't cut their grass. You know what I'm saying? Okay, you're going down a little bit more. Intel, is this the same quote? Chief facing ups and downs for 18A technology. Glad to be back. Glad to have you back, Mr. Martinez. So watch, you're breaking down a little bit worse now. This is looking a lot uglier. So yeah, you're right back to the first little high of the day here, but the only thing I see is Mexico. And Apple's coming down. No currencies are moving, but Mexico equities are down 2% right now. You watched it. He's not a galvanizing speaker. Oh! Tyler again. Well, hold that thought. You're dumping. These candles are getting a lot bigger. Eyes, baby. Tyler just dropped 100 on him today, bro. Let's go. And I got your email, bro. I read it. It's amazing. I gave you a response back during the Caroline thing. So God bless, bro. And thank you again. So I'm talking about. All right, man. That was a one point flush, but you're down about 3 points in the last 15 minutes. No euro close, no nothing. I think it might be big tech. Mm-hmm. Bro, I'm going to have to ban so many people during Philo. I already see it coming. Why aren't you talking about the stock market? I love it, bro. Thank you, Tyler. You know that? You give us the opportunity to share with them, and at least we got to share with them before we ban them. You know what I'm saying? If they don't want, otherwise, those of you who get the membership, I really hope you make the most out of it, man. And I hope I see you on the watch list tonight, because that's what you get. You get a watch list now. Look at that. But yeah, I don't have any headline on this, you guys. So you are coming back down here, but be on lookout. This is weird. But then all day has been like this, so I'm not really like too jumpy. I just don't want to miss anything. You know what I'm saying? I don't think it's anything, but I'm not gonna be sanguine about it in this market. But I really don't think this is. It's large though. 3 points out of nowhere. And that could be India stuff. I mean, there was correlations. There was another Fitch one, too. Mm-hmm. No, I don't like unusual whales. Stop promoting that shit. Thank you. I think they tricked people into buying a bunch of dumb options for a long time. Next. But you guys should comment on their page. Like, I would like it. I would love it if you guys went to all these other places and were like, you guys would love youtube.com/the stock market. That would get a way better response from me than you telling me when I've known a lot of that and I've seen some shady shit over my years. So, yeah. Thank you. Come again. Ready? I mean, okay, you're bouncing there. You could post the info if it's actual meaningful, but try to verify it. And like I'm saying, I don't know. I just view a lot of these as subtle promotions. Shakeout before breakout. I don't know. Today, a lot of this stuff. Remember in the morning, they were like, why the f are we down? And then why are we up? And then we're doing that back and forth. So it's kind of wild. I trigger a lot of people. I know. I didn't want to, but now I don't care. That's it. They're still missing the info. So they got to either get over it or get a long term or do whatever was working. That's your choice. But yeah, I don't want, like I said, we need to be safe. And I think there is a lot of new people. And this time around, though, I'm not going to be timid about protecting you guys because there's so much trash on Wall Street. And just, again, I've seen it. And again, you'll probably make the rounds. If you don't listen, I guarantee you, watch, you'll be back here in 4 years. Promise you. I guarantee it. You hate me now, and you're like, this guy don't talk about technicals. This guy thinks everything's a scam. How about that? Watch, you're going to do it. You're going to go through all the rounds. You'll go through every stock stream. You'll go through every service. You'll buy this little tool. You'll probably buy a course or two. You're going to do all of it. And you're going to end up back here. And I'm going to tell you, get a long term. So get a long term now. And if you don't believe me on anything of the trading, fine. But get a long term today. Then go make your rounds and then come meet me back here in 4 years. Okay? At least I'll make you money with the long term. And that's the part that I despise the most about all these fuckers who take my info and sell it to you or try to manipulate it to you. Because what do you notice they're doing? They'll give you the shit I will give you for free and repackage it, but they won't tell you to get a long term, let alone give you a good model of a long term to follow. Trash. So yeah, but if you don't believe me, seriously, Just get a long-term today. Save your 10%. You don't want to believe me on the news, the trading. You think I'm a biased Republican or whatever you think, or whatever the internet, or some fool who got mad because I didn't want to invest in his company and I banned him, and they want to go and make comments because they're angry Yelp reviewers. Great. You'll be back here in 4 years, and you'll realize everything I'm telling you about Wall Street, from the market makers to these courses to these services to Weeble. And you'll realize it all. And you will, I'm sure you'll kind of see what I'm saying. So it's up to you, though. It's your life, your path. You have time to learn on your own, and you have time to learn from other people's mistakes. So you got to make a good choice. And I want the best for everybody. I hope you realize that. I've been blessed enough, all of it, bans or not. I just hope you guys do good. You know what I'm saying? And I really hope we could have a good community, but this time around, we got to really protect people. And, like, you see it everywhere. So get a long-term, stay safe. Don't fucking trust anybody. And you'll see it, man. But be paid. And don't add pressure to yourself, you know? All the money, all the flexing, all this shit, it adds pressure. And if you could remove that, I think a lot of you have natural talent at this game that will do you good. So don't let that shit get to you. Yalla. Acorns is not considered a long-term, but that's a good step. You know, saving little money like that, I think you should take it to the next level. Take that money saved in Acorns and then put it to another account and start building a long term. But that's a good thing that you're saving like that. I like that a lot. Oh, Turb. But yeah, like I'm saying, though, I've just noticed it. That's all. Why do you think I'm saying this with confidence? I'm not trying to be cocky. I'm not trying to brag. It's because that's what I've seen. You know how many emails I've gotten recently that have said this, what I just told you? I'm speaking facts of people who are like, Josh, I should have listened. And they're like, Josh, I was here 5 years ago, 4 years ago. And then they showed me everything they signed up for, multiple people. And they're like, okay, I'm doing it. And some kept the long term, some didn't. But like I'm saying, if you think I'm just a jackass, great. I'm not going to get offended by that. Just get a long term, go learn and go see what you find out there and come back and tell me. Just like it's richest man in Babylon. But you better have 10% in a fucking long term. Otherwise, I don't know where you'll end up. But if you have that, at the very least, you'll be good. Long term is saving minimum 10% of every dollar that you touch, putting it into a stock account and holding stocks for a minimum of 10 years. And good quality stocks that you know and use and will be around for 10 years. That's it. That's all we got to do. And that's what I'm saying. Good luck. It's a hard game. And then realist, don't even get me started. But yeah. So this is already sounding like Philo. So let's just move it on over. How does that sound, boys? Sound like a good plan? End phase. Homeboy called that out. Mark Dez earlier. It was small, but that picked up another percent. Good call on that. Amazon, I don't know. Yeah, I haven't priced it yet. All right, there's the link. It'll take you there, but we're going to go switch on over to Philo. So this is why I asked you to get a membership. Tyler hooked up a lot of y'all, man. I love it. I love it. So if you want to hear some life talks and also a little bit of news, but mainly life, I would love for you to be there. If not, that's it. And if you just got a membership and you're going to go to the Philo and cry, just remember, we're going to have fun banning you, okay? I hate to break it to you. That's it. It doesn't even piss me off. At this point, it has created more one-liners and entertainment for everybody else in the community. So just approach with caution. No, I'm serious, though. That's why, because then they're like, oh, like, I don't feel bad. I'm just like, oh, that's might be another $5, and I feel bad if they send me an email because I'm like, you did that. Don't you don't send me an email. You'd be, I didn't type that in the chat. You did. I didn't compel you to do that. You did. So that's it. That's it. Chad loves a little one-liner here and there. But yeah, I'll see you guys there. God bless America, and thank you to the veterans. We would not be here without them. For real, man. And go do something good. Honestly, go hook up a veteran, and I'll give you a free membership. I'll pay you for it. How about that? That sound like a good deal? So thank you to all the members. God bless you, and God bless Chadadonia. I will see you there. Let's get it.